Hey everybody! Welcome to our penultimate stream here on Apochromatic. Uh-oh, I'm getting an echo from somebody. Who am I echoing? We good? We good? All right. No longer hearing that echo. Excellent. Hey everybody, welcome to our penultimate stream here on Apochromatic for Black History Month. For those who don't know, we've been supporting Black Girls Rock, which is an organization empowering Black females and young women, and focusing on leadership, education, and cultural enrichment. We have been going strong. We have met our goal, but I always want to throw more money at charities we are supporting. So please, 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 please give if you can. I'm with my lovely cast and crew today. We're playing some Starfinder. And we're doing it here. And we're doing it with the sponsorship of Transplanter. They have been supporting us through this entire event this month, and we really appreciate them now that we're on our little penultimate, second to last game situation here on Apochromatic. Transplanter has been a proud sponsor this whole Black History Month, and we encourage everyone to go watch and participate in the band. And we also stand up for freedom against oppression. So, you know, screw white supremacy, screw imperialism, free Sudan, free the DCR, no, DRC, sorry, not DCR. God, I can fucking dyslexic as hell today. And free Palestine. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce my cast, and I'm going to have them pass some mics around. And I'm going to start with Mitch, because I'm going to call out Mitch, because Mitch is close on my screen to me. So
that happens every once in a while. Hi, I'm Mitch. I'm also known as Raptor Blue online on Twitch. We cover Black history, African American history, and we do just kind of fun things. So if you want to swing by, go ahead.
All right. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Rush.
Hello, everybody. I'm Agent Rush. Agent Rush, or Molly will do. My pronouns are she, her. I am just kind of starting out in the wider world of TTRPG media. Though I am a cast member on the podcast, can you roll me a vibe check?
Mm-hmm. All right. And those are my two statesides. Everybody else I have is international. So I'm going to start out in the UK and have them introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Lola. And yes, as a wonderful storyteller, like I said, I am in the UK, I'm in Scotland, and I play for Roll Together RPG over here. I also write games, and I have one kickstarting right now, which will be ended by the time we finish the game. So if you're interested, it's University Order the Traveler on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So check it out.
We can get and then drop a link to that. Yeah, if we can get somebody to drop a link for that in the chat so that people can check it out, that'd be great. And last but not least, our virtual and international friend, Steve.
Hello, hi, I'm Steve, also known as Sassy Vance. I'm from India, and I'm very excited to be here. I stream on Twitch. I have a Twitch channel of my own where I do my own thing, but I also have a TTRPG studio called Pantsless Tables, where I try to shine a spotlight on underrepresented Asian talent. We've been operating for about a year now. We just celebrated 1 year, end of January, and I'm very proud of all the work we've done. Come check us out weekends, morning times EST, because we stream in the evenings for us, and time zones are a pain. But yeah, that's me.
Well, there we go. Yeah, we have a lot of time zones here. I think there's only 2 people in the same time zone right now. So if somebody gives a time check, it's going to go real messy in this stream. Don't do it. It's pain. But yes, so we find ourselves, we're going to be playing some Starfinder, because we're going to play around with the new Starfinder 2E playtest. But we're going to tell a story that's going to be touching on some themes here. One of those themes is inherent wealth disparity. So that I'm not comfortable with. I'm just letting you know up front. It's our little warning about that. We're also probably going to be doing some violence. It is Starfinder. There's possible violence. To set the scene for our lovely crew, I'm going to have my players describe their characters here in a few moments and deal with some things. But the place we find ourselves at as we pull our camera out from our OOC space and move our camera into our in-character space is not a bulk freighter, but I'd say more of a gunship, we decided, right? We have a kind of a gunship with some bunking that you guys have been living in for a while now. And what's the name on the side of this bad boy? Because we made a decision. I'm gonna see who remembers. No. Oh, right away. Awkward moments.
It's just constantly scratched out and rewritten. No
It
one
is.
remembers.
No one remembers. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it was the Blue Betty on this most recent job, because I believe you just got done robbing an illegal gambling spot, which is beneficial for you because we have a bunch of dubiously gray individuals that are looking to go legit. And we should probably meet our lovely cast of PCs. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Steve this time and have Steve describe his character and what they got going on.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I'm playing Sylvester Skittermander Witch Warper. Their vibes are very much golden retriever, where it's like hyper excited, super happy to be here, just man out of time of sorts. But despite that, not letting the bad vibes keep you from enjoying the life that you have. And very much just focused on family and how I can help my friends be the best versions of themselves, and also very much trying their hardest to live up to their own potential as much as they can. The Skittermanders, what's the word for it? Background, or not background, ancestry is they have like multiple arms and legs, and they have six arms basically. So like 6 arms and 2 legs is the vibe, and they're mostly like covered in fur and colorful hair and like just happy to be here, excited to be a part of the good vibes, but also doing their best, or at least for my character, doing his best to support his family in any way possible. And at this point, this crew is his family. So whether it's moral support or it's I got to shoot this guy because he said shit about my friend support, he's here for it.
There you go. Next, I'm going to go with our next person who's not from the Pack Worlds. Our cat. Yeah, no, you can't hide. You gotta tell us all about you now.
If I knocked the laptop off the table, like that, am I even here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing Kukui and a Pathra operative. Ooh, why am I with this crew? Well, there was a job that we both ended up happening. Well, that we all ended up happening to bump into each other on, and it seemed like it would suit my aims, and I guess I'm just here now.
Mm-hmm. There you go. What's their vibe? What do they look like? What do they got going on other than the lovely cat features?
Mm-hmm. So Kukui is a Pathra, so medium-sized with like slightly mottled brown fur, but they've put shocks of blue through it all, and they've braided some of it as well. So all of this kind of you would assume make them stand out, but what it actually does, especially because there are quite yellow tones to their fur, is that in certain lights it actually helps them blend, because the blue and the yellow and the caramel kind of colors kind of cancel each other out. So it makes them very good at disappearing, but otherwise they are wearing a relatively fitted outfit that's particularly stylish, and just will occasionally flick the prehensile tile as they keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm. Next, Mitch.
Oh boy. I am playing a Lashanti envoy by the name of No Dice Demikill. He's got that bit of a distant, older unk vibe. You know, always kind of there. Doesn't say a whole lot at the very beginning, but once things start rolling is when he starts vibing hard.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, you know, he's a bit lengthy. Perhaps the most striking thing about him is that he's not colorful like other Lashanta. Instead, he has this waxy pallor to his skin. The blue fading into grays, his antenna slicked back into his otherwise, at least attempted stylized hair. And he, from about the neck down, is just a Frankensteinian monster of minor implants and surgical scars, as if the body just hasn't healed right.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, our soldier.
Mm-hmm. So I will be playing Takarami Twilight, the Vesk soldier. She's she's probably the biggest one here. Bigger than everybody on the crew, but not particularly big for a Vesk. You know, if you're not in the life, you might not realize she's capable of what she's capable of. And she has light purple scales. Her right eye is red, and her left eye is yellow. And she does have she did get her tail augmented, so she has a prehensile tail, and it's just kind of, she's just kind of scratching her back, thinking about stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Well, you all just raided this gambling den of ill repute, aka something that's not monitored, something that was probably an illegal gambling house. And you're doing it, and so the audience knows, we're doing it because this group is trying to go legit. They've been scavenging in the gray of space for the last several years now, and they've got a pretty good deal from the Pathfinder Society to take their less than reputable part and make it reputable. The problem is they might have some warrants out or some outstanding fines or some docking fees they haven't paid, and they've amassed probably around like 1.1 million credits. Well, hello, kitten. Worth of outstanding debts and dues and other things that the Pathfinder Society can take care of, but they're not going to foot that bill. These are people that could be really useful to the Pathfinder Society, but they need to make sure they're on the straight and narrow, for lack of any better term. So they've been mulling their way and finding their way around things. They've just gotten done liberating this cash from this den of ill repute, we're going to say. That's definitely how they're framing it. This money was clearly going to go to bad people doing bad things in bad places, and now it's going to go to the legal fees of upstanding individuals. And you find yourself around this table, organizing this money, which, let's be clear, you shoved it in a bag. So it's the time to, count hundreds on the table and 20s on the floor type situation, and organize this and find out how much you've got. But as you're doing this, it kind of reminds you of some things. It reminds our Vesk of things from their past and kind of brings them back into a memory.
Oh, yeah. I mean, seeing this much money in one place, it's wasn't always like this. Used to be, had to work hard and fight harder for a single cred stick. Might be enough to get you 2-3 meals if you save it. Yeah, I've done a lot of work in my life, and not all of it is as interesting as the stuff I do now. Before I hooked up with the salvage crew that led me to this crew, I was dogs bonnie at a bar, setting up the kegs, cleaning up the puke, occasional bouncing job when the usual bouncer had a hangover. And that Well, it's not great. I'm really not going to go back to that. Not now. Not when we're this close.
Excellent. And you kind of snap back to reality as somebody throws out a stack of cred sticks and you keep organizing them there. And this was a good haul, but this is definitely not one of those like last final job we're done situations. It's looking like somewhere between probably 150,000 and 170,000, 75,000 credits, which is good, but constantly hitting, gangsters to try to raid their illegal gambling dens is eventually going to get you a name in an area you don't really need. And you guys know you need to find that job. And you've been putting the feelers out for that one big job, that one last gig that will move you from, gray space / less than legitimate means to, more legitimate means. And as you're finishing up this job, you get to the ritual this crew has taken because nobody wants responsibility. I'm gonna say our Pathra just got done doing the deed, and the Pathra puts this old key, and by old key I mean out of place. This out of place item in this world full of magic technology, an old, probably bronze skeleton key on the table, like as you guys are finishing up organizing this money. And what does she say about it when she puts it on the table?
They twirl it in their hands and then put it on the table, but it's still playing with it. And say, so this key can get us in anywhere. Opens any door. Perhaps we need to be thinking bigger for this last job, because I thought that this one was going to be the last job. But clearly...
Well, it sounds like you have an idea.
I don't know. I think we have contacts. We've had our feelers out for a while. It might be worth having a conversation or two. But I really don't want to be doing this too much more,
Well, I could probably find out if we have a job or two that's floating around, something a little bit bigger. Are we talking something specific, or are we talking, no more robbing gangsters, instead of robbing one of those syndic guilds?
Well, we... My name is quiet. I like keeping it quiet. I don't really want it to be on too many people's shit lists. So... I guess that's why I have to clean up after us, isn't it? Well... Perhaps the syndicate could go on.
So what? Looking for some individual high roller?
I mean, and kind of bats the key a little bit further across the table to the center. We've already pissed one of them off.
Well, I think I know of one that might be a little bit easier to get the stewards to look the opposite way.
What say you,
As you're-
Sylvester? Sorry.
They're good. Keep going. Don't mind me. I'll wait till the role play is done.
So fair. It's fine. Fine.
Well, look, we can keep robbing gangsters, or we can keep going after, or we can go higher than that. Either way, it's going to be a risk.
Well, now I'm interested. What do you say, Sylvester?
I think the key is based on what I know and what I've learned. It's we need to keep that safe, right? So maybe we go to a place a little bit further away from here, and we both keep the key safe, and we can cause shenanigans in a place outside of our regular territory, so that even if someone does put us on a shit list, it doesn't matter because we're too far away. I think that could be that could be a way to handle this, because I don't want any of you to get into trouble because of my issues. Plus, also, yeah, that's all I got.
Right as Sylvester says, I don't really want us to get into trouble. For lack of any better term, serendipitously, the HoloNet rings. You get a call, and as we know, we have caller ID now, so we definitely have caller ID in this far future space. It's listed as Mauser, who is one of the fixers you guys have worked with pretty heavily in the past. You've definitely put your name out to them to look for big jobs. And it's Mauser's ID. Do you guys want to answer? Do you let it ring and go to voicemail, for lack of any better term?
Is there a way to make sure the line is clean?
I mean,
Or at least
it's as clean as it's gonna be. Like, if you're getting a call from Mauser, it's usually Mauser doesn't say things like openly over the OmniNet. He doesn't just announce what's being done, but he'll call and to set up a meeting is what he usually does.
Yeah.
So he probably is going to call to be setting up a meeting in person.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's like,
So we open it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mauser. Mauser looks to be like Mauser doesn't have his background completely blurred out, so you're getting bits and pieces. And Mauser's probably in a bar in a club that you met him in before. From the look of it, it's probably a place called the Golden Tangerine. It's kind of it's a place that wants to be upscale but comes off as gaudy. One of those types of clubs that clearly is like, we want to be highfalutin, but we're not. We're more gaudy than anything else. And Mauser looks chill, doesn't seem to have anything out of place. He's like, hey, how's everybody doing? Seems you're all around. That's coincidental. You wanted me to keep my my ears to the ground and see if there's anything else. Mauser's a Yusoki, by the way, which is like a rat folk, smaller size. A lot of them live on Akaton. I got my ear to the ground, and I got some things. If you want to swing by outside of outside the station, the Golden Tangerine is one of those places that has popped up because around what used to be Galeria, there's now a space station. But even around that space station, there are kind of permanent like ships that have docked together to form a less regulated situation. So it's basically airspace, but unregulated. It's one of those situations where like, well, we're not technically on the station, so law doesn't technically apply here. It's a lot of very gray space that you guys are very used to maneuvering. And Mauser's like, if you want to swing by the Tangerine, we can talk about it. I don't, me, I don't like to do business unless we're face to face. But I got my beat on more than one thing. They're just two very different things. So, how far out are you guys? You think day or two, 3 days? What are you thinking?
Well, 2-3 days, Mauser.
All right.
But we'll meet you there.
We'll see you in 2 or 3 days. You won't have much time. You'll have to pick pretty shortly after you get here, but 2 or 3 days is well within the timetable to get these things taken care of. So I'll see you in 2 or 3 days. At which point in time, Mauser's going to hang up, and leave you all to your chatting.
As soon as the call ends, Sylvester I still cannot get over the fact that this is a rat folk and his name is Mauser. Like, what's next? A cat folk named Tom? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a thing.
I mean, it might be a thing. I don't know. The galaxy's a big place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't fit with what I know of us. But sure, maybe someone took it as a name because they thought it was funny.
I mean, I call myself No Dice. That ain't a name. I'm pretty sure most of us don't have an actual name, unless you're running around with your actual name.
Oh no, of course not. Sylvester's not my name, of course. Why would I give people my real name? No, of course. No. And he just looks away awkwardly and just fiddling with his 6 hands. Just oh no.
Exactly. See?
Violet just says, "You'll never find out."
We'll never know.
You'll never know, and you'll never need to know.
So you guys make your way to the station. I'm not going to be like, we're going to have 2 days of role play, but it takes about 2 days to drift travel back to that area based upon where you guys were out robbing and stealing. And it's pretty uneventful. You kind of make your way onto this amalgam of ships that have kind of gotten docked together. And I would like our Vesk to make a perception check as we arrive and head toward the Gold Tangerine. But only our Vesk.
Well, okay then. Oh, the result's 17.
All right, and go ahead and have me your perception score.
Oh, my perception score is 14.
There you go. So 31. Be that. So as you arrive, doesn't seem to be anything else, but you catch. You're headed by like the labor like you come in, there's people working at the docks, and you look around and you swear you catch a glimpse of an android that you know from somewhere, and you can't quite make them out as you're headed to the Golden Tangerine.
Are they like too far away? Because I do have an auto recollect lens installed.
Yeah, no, it's not that they're too far away. It's that you catch them in that moment of like, you don't get the full shot. You're like, I know those clothes, I know that walk, but you don't get a good look at the face.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's that type of moment, but
okay.
It's that like you know that look, but they don't like circle back around or come to look at you. You do have that like hairs in the back of your, well, I would say hairs, but you don't have your scales in the back of your neck. Shiver a bit, like there might be some malice, like some unseen malice in your direction, but you don't get a great look. But you head to the Golden Tangerine and you make your way in, and it is trying, like I said in the description, it's trying to do that thing where it wants to be high class, but instead of high class, it just comes off gaudy. So like, you know, you'd be like, instead of like the bar looks great, but it's like clearly gold plated. It's, you know, we want a crystal chandelier, but it's just ever so slightly off, but it doesn't quite fit. Like it overfits the room. It's not it's too big for the room. It's all those little touches that tell you that somebody wants this place to be high class, but it's just not there. The music is just a little too loud and just not like it's the like, hey, if this was pop music, it's not in sync, it's 98 degrees. It's just that 1 or 2 degrees off from being what it should be. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me I'm real hard.
Perfect.
like
I get you.
It's like it's just that 2 degrees off from being what it should be. It's not quite right. And you catch Mauser, who you do know not their real name, just the alias they use, completely correct on that. Like, you catch Mauser will wave you over. Mauser kind of keeps, not like a permanent table here, but it's very clear that Mauser keeps an entourage in the VIP here and like likes this place and has some protection here. Like it's very noticeable that Mauser has probably like 3 to 4 people that work for him at the club. Like one of his people spots you as you come in, let them know you're here. He waves you up, but you can tell that he's got like a goon with him and like 2 other goons at the front of his booth. So it's not like he's not well protected, but he's also clearly not like a gangster level, like a big roller level person. Like much like the club, Mauser is that type of fixer that's just off from being really successful. And like as you hit Mauser's like private area, the music completely dumbs out. He's clearly got like a sound dampener so you guys can talk business. It's clear that he's got himself set up here, and he welcomes you all in, sits you all down, orders you guys a round of drinks, and commences to like making small talk for a little while, and then eventually kind of looks around and goes, I hope everybody's doing good. I know you guys are looking for big scores of a particular amount. I've had 2 very different jobs come across my desk, and both of them you could do. I know you guys specialize in getting things, and I know in the past, every once in a while, you've helped, liberate merchandise and maybe help the person out. But they're both pretty big paying gigs around the things you were talking about, but they're both real different. One of them is a person job, and one of them is a product job. They both come with their positives and negatives. For the person thing, so yeah. The stewards, what's the best way to put this? The stewards need somebody rescued. It seems one of their people didn't necessarily go rogue. That's not the right term. They were, I can't seem to get the details. It sounds like they were working with somebody to try to capture a criminal, and they may or may not have gotten themselves caught. And some of their enemies may have offered several bounties, and now they're kind of sitting in a holding cell until somebody can collect. It's probably going to get this person killed, and the stewards are in a weird position for the first time in a long time where this person's being held outside of their jurisdiction, and they don't tend to cross those borders. They don't do that thing. So they've offered a pretty reasonable sized bounty. It seems that somebody by the name of Agent Miko got caught. That probably stirs some memories in you guys. Agent Miko is a fairly well-known detective in the Stewards who tends to track down people who do pretty illicit stuff. They're known for being that like bulldog of a detective, but known for being pretty uncorruptible. Stewards are known for being pretty uncorruptible anyway, but this is somebody who like probably gets news feeds every once in a while about how they broke up this trafficking ring and freed some people. So they're kind of on the right side of the law and kind of on the right side of the populace. But they are known for being overzealous and kind of every once in a while ignoring Steward jurisdiction if they get outside of that particular situation, which has made them a lot of enemies because there's kind of this unwritten rule or even written rule sometimes with some steward agents that they just like, once you get outside the pack worlds, they stop. They have no jurisdiction. They don't keep going. And Miko has been known to cross that line and be like, well, that just because that person crossed over the border doesn't stop the bad they're doing. So they've been known to maybe bend a rule here or there where they feel is morally right. But you're not super surprised this has eventually caught up with them. They've made a lot of enemies in a lot of criminal organizations. They're not super well liked amongst some corporate arms because they've been known to break up corporate corruption. They've been known to be like, oh, this corporation's really manipulating the law. And Miko's known to step in and be like, help the locals from time to time. They're the epitome of what the stewards would consider morally good, but they're not always in line with the stewards, strict by the law, by the book law situation. But they do wonders for the stewards' PR, for lack of a better term. This is the person you can put on the news and be like, hey, this is a genuinely good person that's doing genuinely good things a lot of the time. You guys probably had a run-in with Miko 4 or 5 years ago when you were doing some things that were gray, but technically not illegal inside space. So it's not like you don't know and don't even have firsthand experience, but it's definitely not a case where you're friends with this person. It could definitely be an awkward moment. But yeah, it seems that Miko got themselves into a bit of trouble, and now they need rescuing. But again, the stewards are and aren't offering this bounty. It's a little awkward. It seems from everything I've put together, some of the people Miko helped over the years have gotten together, found out about this, gotten it, and then some of the people in the stewards are dumping money into this fund. It's a pretty big bounty. The issue is you're not gonna like where it takes you. Apparently they're being held on an outpost by the Exodus fleet. So in the pack worlds, every planet in the Galarian system usually had somebody inhabiting it. A long time ago, before the gap, before Starfinder, there was a planet that may or may not have like utterly destroyed their neighboring planets and turned all of themselves into undead. When the time of Starfinder comes around, this planet was really big on signing the pack worlds. They're one of the founding pack world members because their idea is undeath doesn't make us evil. And they've been outstanding members of the pact worlds. But there was a faction on this planet that was like, we don't want to be part of this organization. So they took a very large fleet of warships full of, zombies and skeletons and vampires and all sorts of things, and basically went off and started their own nomadic fleet that was like, we are in opposition to the pact worlds. And that's who has Miko. They are currently holding them on a station. It could be an issue. But the money's really good. Like really good. Like more than what you were looking for. But it could get your name out there in a way that you might not like and could make you some enemies. The other job... Go ahead.
Oh, Miko really doesn't like to do things by halves.
So what else is new?
Yeah. The other one, well, you told me you didn't really want any jobs on Akaton, but the other job's on Akaton. So doesn't pay as much. It's a salvage operation, which I know you all got your starts doing. Takes you to the ship graveyard. I can go into it, but it takes you back to Akaton, and I know you all aren't really fond of that place.
Just tell us the job. We'll
So the job is in the crush sector of the crashed fleet graveyard, and it's to excavate some data out of a really old ship that nobody else can seem to get into. And I know you guys specialize in getting into places other people can't get into. Like I said, both of these jobs are places most people can't get into.
So we either help the stewards or we piss off the Exodus fleet.
Well, sounds like helping the stewards would be pissing off the Exodus fleet there.
You're right.
Yeah.
Or we go back home for a little bit. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Like I said, neither one of them was great, but they both were in that pay range you were looking for.
What's the pay differential?
About $500,000. The steward's job pays a bit more, but also comes with that risk of pissing off the fleet. Whereas in the Akaton job pays less, in theory is less risky. I mean, you guys are all pretty experienced scavengers. If it was some new no-neck crew, I wouldn't recommend the job, but you guys know the territory and know how to salvage a ship. So it's a list of components, databases, other things like that. It would be obnoxious, but it's in theory safer. Just, I know you don't like Akaton. Before you guys get into the discussion about this, we're going to pan back and we're going to pan on to that android that our vest spotted on their way out the door and coming in. And it's for those of you who don't know about androids in Starfinder, androids usually have a name and a number. And it's very, for lack of a term, destiny-ish. Instead of them having their memory wiped, androids are a body. For every new number, it's usually a new soul that inhabits that body. Androids have souls. Androids move on. Androids tend to live to be about 100. But this android sees our Vesk very quickly, almost shoots a death glare, and heads away from our Vesk towards some offices. They get on a small shuttle, they fly out, they head towards the station, the main station, as you guys are meeting with Mauser, and they make their way directly to the Abadar Corp offices. And they sit there and they wait in a waiting room and they wait for a director. And then we'll pan back to you as you're discussing these things with Mauser.
Well, I mean, look, we get in good with the stewards, wipe any records we got, and get to, do some good, a little bit of good with a higher paycheck.
I think it's gonna be difficult to keep us off the radar with the Exodus fleet if we go out there. It can be done. It's just difficult.
Oh, they definitely get us. Or, not get us. They definitely know us if we go out of there. But on the one hand, it would be really funny to see the look on Miko's face when we're the ones rescuing them.
I know, right?
Don't
Sylvester,
mind
what do you
Miko
think?
owing us a favor. Yeah, Sylvester.
Yeah, I also think that getting in good with the stewards, one, it gives us more money. Two, it gives us an opportunity for when we try to go legit. They kind of will have we will have an ally in our corner, in a way. Plus, it's always a good idea to keep the locals happy with your shenanigans, then piss them off. Also, above the table, this android person who spotted our Vesk. Do we notice them go to the corner, or does anyone notice them go off into
Just the Vesk. The Vesk noticed that they might have realized there is an android about. Somebody sent me an interpersonal relationship situation, so I'm integrating our interpersonal relationship situation.
Cool.
There. I mean, basically, I saw them for a moment and they walked off. So I was like, something to keep in mind, but I don't think it's like particularly important enough to mention right now.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to go help the stewards get this person out, and if we want to delete any of our own data, I can help with that too. So I think this is a good idea.
What makes you think I left anything behind?
I don't think any of us intentionally left anything behind, but shit happens.
To other people.
Sure.
Okay. Mauser looks over. Should I let my contact know that I have a team going after Miko then? Is that
Sure
the plan?
sounds like it.
Is it possible to delay telling your contact by, I don't know, what day?
I can wait, but they're gonna want to know you took the job so that they stop trying to get other people there. You don't want to run into another team, do you?
Oh, right.
Let them know
This is
there's a team,
Oh,
but we need a data prep.
Oh no, that's
something like
fine. I just wanted to make sure they weren't floating the job anymore.
Oh, let them. Tell them, but let them keep floating the job.
Are you sure? You want to make this an open contract?
Only if the Exodus fleet knows there's someone coming, but doesn't know that they're coming yet,
Exactly.
Sure,
Yeah,
I mean-
that's what I was trying to. Yeah.
I don't think the Exodus fleet knows anybody's coming. They're not known for their ability to blend in and talk to people. I mean, they make No Dice look like he's chipper and not even a little. Have you seen some of these dudes? They're just walking skeletons sometimes. It's a little creepy.
A little bit. I still got my flesh though. That's a big
You-
difference.
You do. I'm just saying they make you look the most chipper and alive I've seen. The 3 times I've ever had to deal with the fleet, they didn't really show up with a lot of info. They're not known for their information gathering skills. They don't have a lot of people that blend into environments like this. They kind of stand out. But if you want me to keep the job floating, I can tell you to keep the job floating. I'm just more worried about if they find a third party that's more smash and grab, and all of a sudden there's a fight over the mark.
I mean, that could be fun too, but
You
bet
want me to
it's
leave
not
it
my
open? I'll go and
Maybe
leave it
we-
open. I'll tell them I got a team gone the way, but they want the contract left open, so there's more info out there. It's not uncommon. It's just not something I thought I would do for this particular job.
I guess we'll look at the others. It's like, do we want a distraction?
Distractions are always helpful.
But that's another place or group whose shit list we'd end up on too.
Yeah, but the Exodus crew, if we do it right, the Exodus won't know it was us.
trading one shit list for another.
I'd rather have one little group come after us than the whole Exodus fleet. Just saying.
This is very true.
Yeah, I'll tell them I got a crew on the job, and they'll leave the contract open if they want. That's fine. Not a problem.
As long as there are no other objections, I think that's the best option.
Sounds good. And as you're wrapping up this meeting, it does kind of bring to mind how our Pathra and how our Skittermander kind of first interacted. So we're going to do another little flashback as this meeting is wrapping up, I think. With some
I think this it happened during the crash when we all first met. At the Kukui is climbing across one of the outcroppings and over some salvage that's been blocking the way, and trying to wend their way over a thing until there's another like big shake as the whole thing is still attempting to settle, but it's still pretty destabilized. And I think that's probably when this kind of pod lands on her tail. There's an almighty screech. But Kukui will
I think
Go
the
on.
pod just you hear the hiss of a pod opening, and this bundle of joy just bounces out. Oh, that was too long. My back hurts. I don't. Oh, that was a nap and a half. Hi, hello. Oh, are you? Oh shit. Quickly jumps out, and you see them stretch their hands out and kind of like move the pod off your tail without touching it. Cause I kind of sort of like telekinetic-ish vibes almost. Sorry about that. Hi. Where are we? Who are you? Hi.
on a
I'm
ship.
Sylvester.
On a ship, and Kukui's now cradling their tail, just like stroking it, being like, we're on a ship that crashed.
Oh, I was on a ship or a pod, and he's searching his pockets for. I think I have a mandate somewhere. I don't know if that'll help with the tale or not, but
Don't
how
worry.
long was I out?
I don't know. You could probably
Okay.
check the and we'll poke the pod. And what kind of pod is this?
It looks like a what's the word? A rescue pod, kind of like when you need to escape an exploding ship or something. But it looks old. It looks dilapidated. There's no rust on it because it was in space, so not really oxygen to rust it over. But based on your experience with technology, it looks like something that should not exist anymore because it's that old, that outdated. You don't really understand the controls either. The like basic stuff, right? Forward, backwards makes sense. Like the other stuff, even the language looks different from any Skittlemander language you've seen written. Whether you speak it or not, it looks different from what you've seen it look. Yeah.
What
And
what kind of
And it's blue and
pod
yellow,
is
yeah.
this? Where is this from? I've never seen anything like it before. I can't even pull up the. It beeps as Guiz was trying to do something, and then
no, you almost press the self-explode, and he presses a couple of buttons. No, explodies, not here. This is the top of the line Skittlemander vessel. Part of my science
certainly
expedition.
not top of the
crew ship.
line anymore.
What do you mean? This is not even out yet. This is like the beta 4378 XQZ is what this one is. So
I would say that it's definitely not on the market anymore, but that's because it's obsolete.
yet.
About several thousand years worth. I don't know.
The correct response, pre-gap. For those of you that don't know Starfinder, there's this period of time that Galeria existed as a planet, and then it disappeared. And then for an unknown amount of time, what's called the gap happened. And then time starts back up again. So there's pre-gap knowledge, post-gap knowledge, and then no one, including the gods, don't remember what happened during the gap. And if they do remember, they don't talk about it. So you're looking at this thing and you're like, this might be before the gap.
Yeah, this is so obsolete that it looks pre-gap.
Wait, what's a gap? I mean, like when you're jumping across a hole in the ground is what?
Would you no you know that like after the gap.
I don't understand. I hear the words, but I don't understand what they mean.
The gap, the period of time where the thing just like I don't know how long. No one knows.
Sylvester goes and looks at the pod, and you realize that there is just data missing. Like you're like, I go to look at this data from the point where I believe I got fired off. You're like, I got fired off on this star date. And then you go, and then there's like time, and then there's like missing data from how long you were like suspended in your pod, and then it picks back up again. And it dings in your brain because like this is kind of meta knowledge that everybody has, and you're also a witch warper, that like when she's speaking of the gap, this is what she means. There is just nothing there for you, even technologically.
Wait, what year is it?
What year is it?
Yeah, probably like 407, 408 after gap. AG.
Okay.
I don't even age. He just sits down and he just looks at the ship, looks at you, then looks back at the ship.
So you mean to tell, and is now kind of not pressing any buttons, but is trying to inspect this pod a little bit more, and also trying to see if Sylvester look any different from the Skittermanders that Kukoya would know versus pre-Gap?
Skittermanders have looked like Skittermanders as long as they've looked like Skittermanders, as far as I'm aware.
Okay. So what about Sylvester's clothing or outfit?
Outfit is completely foreign to you. You're like that. That fashion is not. You don't. What? You're like that is. I don't even know.
Right.
This
Yeah.
cannot be real, right? I just spoke to my.
It's real. It's real.
No, this is a dream. This is obviously a nightmare. I just spoke to my kids. What do you mean?
Oh.
He just starts, if you've seen Family Guy and Stewie wrapped in a blanket, rocking back and forth, just that. And I just try to process what is going on.
It's just gonna pinch you. Or poke you with a claw.
Ow.
And be like, stop panicking. We are we're in a ship that is collapsing. Get what you need from your pod and let's get moving. We can panic about the fact that you managed to cross the gap somehow later. You can tell me everything.
Oh, okay, yeah. Grabs a bag with a bunch of shit, sees a bunch of other, whatever he can pick up. Ooh, what's this do? That's the key. Puts it in his pocket and he just walks off. I don't know how we're doing that, but
There we go. Seems like a good place to end that particular flashback. But before we get back to the crew, this android is clearly just finished having a conversation with some sort of regional management. And that regional management has passed that onto who's ever next higher up the chain. And there's the regional manager, the holographic display with this human who's in like a mixture of what appears to be like corporate garb, but with a light undertone of like religious context. And it, for those of you who don't, again, know the Starfinder setting, Abadar Corp on paper sounds like a really neat idea. Abadar is the god of commerce and banking and civilization. And after the gap, Abadar established his church. But instead of it being more of a religious organization, it's also the bank. They help centralize the credit. They do all this other stuff. They're also a intergalactic giant corporation that is effectively Amazon meets a church, meets the ability to control the bank. It is, at its core, kind of terrifying. And Abadar, as a god on his home plane, has a vault. And his vault keeps one of a perfect version of everything. And this is all kind of background knowledge to say that there's a regional manager talking clearly to their boss with this android who's clearly giving them some information. And they go, and you can identify at least one of these people. And the android says, yes, I can. And this clearly like VP of something says, excellent. Get me the pact of the chain. We're going to need some bounty hunters. And we'll cut back to our crew as you're given coordinates, what appears to be like kind of a calendar of what you think might be going on, because again, Miko had enough enemies that it's almost advantageous for the Exodus fleet to auction Miko off to make not just a profit, but to get people's good graces type situation. Like this has gone from like, oh, you have a prison break. We have a prison break on a timetable effectively before a bunch of criminal organizations show up. You've got your own Ocean's 11-esque situation going on here. You've got a heist, which is kind of a jailbreak and a heist going on. And you've got about probably 5 or 6 days to plan this situation out. What are we thinking is going to be our avenue to engage in this situation? What are our thoughts?
This is going to be interesting. Well, Demokill here is very good at computers. I guess I think that would translate to any form of data medium. So I would definitely say he would try and finagle either something like a fake sigil or like caller or transponder for the Blue Betty right now. Scratch out the name, we'll replace it with something else. To get close to the Exodus fleet based on something undead, void-like, whatever we can really do. And that would get us.
We're going to start building a new transponder for the ships that we can kind of mix in and mingle with this part of Exodus fleet and probably criminals that are going to be headed towards this space station where this person is being held.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do we want to run this operation at the same time? Or I think it's probably best to get in and out before they all turn up.
Exactly. That's my thought. We get in, we get close. We sneak the rest of the way in. And if we have a distraction, great. If we don't, we could probably get Mako back onto our ship and, well, hopefully hightail it out before anything happens.
Yeah, but if we hightail it out when everyone's just arriving in, it's going to be very obvious.
Yeah. We can always blame the other people for the breakout.
So your plan has us going in, getting Miko before this all happens, and hanging around to blame other people?
Well, we get in. We hopefully get access to their security systems, whatever it may be. Hopefully no golems. I don't want no golems. I'm just saying. Bone golems are not fun to fight. But we might be able to, edit their view of things a little bit. Have it be on the other people, just in case. Or set up or trip false alarms.
Oh, leave some false evidence behind.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I can do. There's a lot I can do to aid that. Sylvester, do you have anything for this?
When we get to, depending on how we want to get in, I think blending in, disguising ourselves as like the support staff could be an avenue. Pretend or one of us.
I mean, I have a skill set that helps, but I mean, other than, well, Demokill, none of us are dead. Looking. Sorry.
Well, do you know for sure that the entire support staff
Sorry?
but the entire support staff there might not be dead looking, to steal your phrase, right?
I mean, would they keep live people around?
Why not? If people want to work, people want to. I mean, I guess
True.
It depends on their philosophy too.
True.
I mean, I hear some of those, like, vampires, some of them can look pretty alive if they want to.
Yeah. Plus, also, I think if we
Actually, go ahead and give me the first roll of the game, Steve. Go ahead and roll me a recall knowledge on the occult skill.
oh, nice.
Use the math works.
Let's go.
Hit those buttons.
So I just roll occult, or is there a specific recall knowledge thing?
You just roll occult. It's the skill is occult. You're recalling knowledge with occult because it's esoteric information about the undead, and so we're going to use the occult skill to do that.
That's a 29.
29. So with a 29, you're going to know that the majority of the support staff on these space stations is probably going to be undead. It's probably going to be some form of undead. Also, you're going to know that because the fleet runs a majority of undead, there's going to be lots of spaces on this fleet area and on the space station that just don't have atmosphere. Because if you're undead, you don't need to breathe. So why are we running atmosphere in these places? So there's going to be things that you are going to be able to exploit that you might not be able to exploit other places, in the sense of you're going to be able to figure out where there is atmosphere, where there is life support systems, because the handful of people who they have to keep alive, like Miko, and the people that do need life support, like let's say people who are alive the vampires have to feed off of, or people who might not be fully undead or in the process of maybe getting grafted or in whatever like semi state of undeath they might be, are the only ones that are going to need environment. And everything else is possibly, there's going to be parts of the station that are just going to be open to the void, which makes infiltration a little bit easier. But you do know that the ability to disguise yourself as undead will probably be kind of handy in this situation. Or the ability to remain unseen if people have the ability to be invisible, that will also be pretty handy in this situation.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, one, I'm going to relay this information to the other so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that could be a way to do it. We infiltrate through places that we know based on our schematics are open to the void or the space. There's also, if we want to go the other way, which is like the distraction way, I think one of us pretends to be like one of the high functioning peoples who wants to bid on Miko. I have a couple of skills that help me plant rumors and shit, and I can make one of us be that person. So one person does that, like we cause a distraction there, while the other crew sneaks in from behind, steals the shit from the void, and we leave. That could be like a two-pronged attack if that's something you want to do.
Sounds to me like we got several good skills set up here.
Yeah.
We get close to the ship. We have a cover story just in case we get caught. We go in through one of the empty spaces, able to track down Miko from there, just in case we get, stopped along the way. Your friend here, your neighborhood undead or death looking, we're going with that term today,
It's all right.
is perhaps able to say, hey, I brought some new people to be fed off of.
I think I'll just be invisible, but I can help with the disguise for you, because we would like you to look more undead like that and less recognizable as you.
I'm pretty undead looking.
No, but we don't want them to know it was us, so you can't look like you.
Fair enough. I see where you're going with this. So it sounds to me like we have a solid plan already.
So just to be clear, am I a fake prisoner or am I sneaking in through space?
Well, I said
I'm going in through space.
Seems like
Okay,
space is
so
going to be the fake prisoner is just in case we get caught.
Wait, fake prisoner? I thought we were going fake or noble.
Well, I
Are
could
we
pretend to
doing
be a
both?
fake noble.
Yeah, I was thinking fake noble who's trying to bid on Miko, right? That could be one way to do it, because it'll give us access to a lot of things if we do it that way. So two of us, like I could go with dice and I could pretend to be their bodyguard, while the two of you sneak around back into the void and steal the shit, and then we leave. That could be the plan.
That's a pretty solid plan so far. We got to make sure we have a rendezvous point just in case.
Well,
We need to make sure that we have what's the word? I'm blanking on things, but like so that we have our cover stories properly in place in case there's a situation that arises.
Credentials, is that the word we're looking for?
Yeah.
Credentials.
Yes,
there we
that.
go.
Okay.
I can take care of that.
Cool. I will need. Are you producing physical credentials, and then somebody's also producing a digital credential as well? I'm hearing. That's the fun and amusement part of the future.
Let's
want.
Let's go.
I guess so.
I'm good at that computer and crafting, so just in case we need to do both.
Yeah.
Computers would be the one for the other credentials. Deception is actually used, I believe, to roll for forgery checks in this game.
So I'm gonna do that one.
And I'll do the computer one.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
And
Give me
I have
checks.
a thing. What's it called? It's a feat that it's called Plant Rumors. But the way it's written is that you intercede in a conversation to subtly damage another's reputation and make their argument less compelling, right? Could we do it the other way, where it's a conversation online in the forums, and I'm damaging the reputation in a sense that I'm creating a cover story for this person to be the person who wants to come in to buy to put a bounty on Miko that way. So we are technically damaging their reputation in front of the staff, in the front of the good guys' eyes.
So
But technically, the bad
yes.
reputation is good for the bad guys. You know.
yes, but slightly differently. So what I'm going to say is you can plant a rumor that you guys are the whatever fake credentials and fake person you're making is the person that has the most clout to get Miko, aka you're damaging the other bidders with the way you're planting your rumors. So you're starting an online conversation about how this person you're making up is the most predominant person who should be making the bid, making the reason why they're there early more believable.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I like
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna need computer roll from Mitch, computer roll from Steve, and I believe I have a deception roll from our Papa, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't do a bad job.
I rolled a 12 and I have a computer of 20, so 32.
Nice.
Okay. I got a roll. I rolled a 13 on the dice, but I have a deception question. With my feet, do I add anything to that?
Which feat?
A ghost.
Your ghost one? No, that lets you
No,
do some
okay,
other
that's
stuff.
just in person. Okay.
You,
Well,
I don't think harmonizing works in this particular place because you're forging a document and not doing an actual physical thing. You're not physically doing the thing, so I don't think your one for harmonize works either.
Okay. So would this count as stealth or stealth or just
It's deception. You're forging physical document. You're forging physical documents to do it.
Okay, fine. Well, then it's only a 28.
Yeah, let me double as I whip the book out to double check, but I'm almost positive deception is used for forgery in this game.
It is.
So, yeah, I was like, I'm almost positive. This game did a very good job of being like, oh no, forgery is a deception skill. It's about lying. Like,
yeah. Okay.
All right. And then Steve, how is our rumor planting go?
I got a 7, but that brings it to a 23. Yeah.
Okay. So you dealt with our physical. Oh no.
Oh no.
Hopefully, Brunch will return here in a moment, but I'm going to keep going on. With our 30, we are managed to plant. You are managed to basically create a false identity. What is the false identity you built? Do you keep the same ancestry, or are you like a human? Are you something else? What are you in this fake ancestry? What are you in this forgery of credentials that says you want to be the bidder? Are you keeping? Because like a Shinto can fake being a human pretty easily with a hat. Like,
yeah. So we're going as a human undead by the name of Mr. Diamond.
Okay.
And
what does he do? Is he like an arms dealer? Is he a human trafficker? What is your evilness to be?
Oh, he's we're gonna throw somebody kind of under the bus here. He's gonna be what is the correct term for them again? A buyer, a procurement specialist, let's say, from the ASPIS Consortium.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh.
Sounds good. So
Sure.
a buyer from the ASPIS Consortium and named Mr. Diamond, he was a human. So we'll definitely be making a disguise check as we do this. Easy peasy. And then you've wrangled up some physical credentials. It sounds like for our of this person who's like, these are people, da 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 da, and like you managed to forge things that say physically, if they were to check his physical papers, not just the digital record, that they're going to match up just fine with your high 20 roll. Our rumor mill is good, but not great. It has definitely discouraged some of the lower end buyers from challenging Diamond. But some of the higher end people and maybe other people from the consortium are like, I've heard clearly like when you make up a band and ask somebody if they've heard of the band and they're like, no, but I like their old work. I don't like their new stuff. That is kind of the ASPIS Consortium response to this new identity that has just popped up on the internet. It's the like, hey, this person is who I know, yada, yada, but I don't like them or I haven't met them personally, but I've heard of the reputation because the galaxy is a big place. Generating an extra ID is the hardest thing in the world. So you have Mr. Diamond. Do you then generate a second set of credentials for your Skittermander bodyguard? Because it sounds like we have 2 people going in and then 2 people doing the exterior situation.
I definitely would have done that. I would have done 2 physical ones. So
sure, sounds good. So
do you just roll again, or
no? You don't need to roll again. I just want to know what is the because you can't make a Skittermander not a Skittermander. Let's be really clear here. There's no faking not being a Skittermander. So what is the new identity you guys come up for our Skittermander bodyguard? What is their credentials name?
I did not think that far ahead. Sylvester.
You said that the diplomacy thing worked, right? No, not the diplomacy thing. Sorry, the fake ID worked.
Yes, but wait, I think because you took so long in picking, it was like B something and.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm thinking very funnily, it will just be Sylvester Fury. That's his name.
No.
All right.
You can't use your real name.
No, it's not Sylvester. It's
Sylvester.
There's a difference.
Oh, Levester? Okay. Levester, sir.
Levester.
Just change the first letter out to something else, basically like, so PH, Sylvester Fury. That's the new name. Fury is pronounced Fury, like angry, whatever. And the backstory
like Nick Fury.
PhD Levester Fury. Got it.
Yeah. The backstory is that you rescued me from near death, and now I owe you a debt of gratitude. That's why I'm your bodyguard. Yeah. And you named me Sylvester because I reminded you of your pet from a long time ago. That's it.
And a cat, one might say.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we have fun.
And we do. We have a great time. So as you're forging these documents, Mitch, and you're getting this set up, and No Dice is engaging with all these things, it reminds him of a time before he could do all this stuff. What was that time like?
Ooh. This would be definitely back on Akaton, a little neighborhood known as Ramrock, one of the poorer neighborhoods of, I think it was Oral. one of the big cities there. When he was alive, dusky skin, blue scales, all of it. He was still a poor kid growing up there. He remembers his four younger siblings, where he was struggling to help take care of them, wheeling and dealing, stealing from Peter to pay Paul, all of it, and it wasn't getting where he needed to go. He was good at scamming, being a scalper, but that was about it, at least at the time, before he was approached by someone. He doesn't remember the name all the time. Sometimes when he's more lucid, when he's been drinking, does he remember? But he remembers very much that it was a gentleman from the Aspis Consortium who offered him a gig, a salvaging gig, one of many, and one that taught him his skills, and one that got him killed.
There you go. Sounds great. So you're kind of
why you're
stuck in
ready
that.
to throw shade on them.
So as you're stuck in that memory, we pan out and we pan back to the state to a clearly Abaddon Corp outpost. And there's this android kind of sitting there, the same android that reported this thing, the same android that's doing that. They're now in a Abaddon Corp jumpsuit. They've got like a pistol on their side. They seem to be waiting. And what they're waiting for is you see a very sleek, almost you'd call it like a strike ship, like something that is built for speed and damage and fear. And it's all black with red highlights. And there's a symbol on it that looks like almost like a tri-leaf with like red highlights on the outside. For those of you that would know this symbol, it's the symbol of the Hell Knights. And it's the symbol of a Hell Knight interceptor, a class of ship that is sleek and fast, that is designed to hunt. And you see a, not sure what gender, because it's armor. It is black, it's rigid, it's sharp spikes. They've got what appear to be like a bandolier on with a rifle over their back, and looks like all sorts of implements to capture people. They're flanked by two other individuals dressed very similarly. And they enter, the android stands clearly a little bit nervous, but clearly also a little bit like invigorated. And they go, are you the contact? And the android says, yes. And they put out their hand and they're like, Onyx 5. And the Hell Knight kind of looks at the hand and goes, and I care why. You can identify these people, right? Yes, I can. And I'm pretty sure they have what Abadar is looking for and has been for a long time. Good. That's all we need to know to do our job. Get on. We have places to go and people to find. And I feel like that's a great spot to stop for like our 15-minute break. I think it's a nice little stopping point, unless other people would like to keep going.
I think we can all go for a tiny break right now.
I certainly appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Amanda can take us out. We'll be back in about 15.
Stay in your seats.
Hey everybody, we're back. Come back. Welcome back. We're back here on Apochromatic Limited, and we are finishing up our Black History Month. We're having a lot of fun here doing some I'm gonna say Pathfinder, but Starfinder 2E beta action. We're about to commence on our heist here shortly, and we are raising money for Black Rock, so please donate it. Also, our very own cast member, before we get started, is just have you posted the link? Is the link been posted?
Yep, just posted for
Just post
University
the
of
link.
Dorset
It's
Traveler.
over in like 100 and some odd minutes. So also, if you want to help out there, that is also recommended. You're getting to do that. We're very close to like one more goal to go be that person that puts you over the edge.
£5, which is like less than the basic reward. So
I don't know what that is in American money, so I'm awful. You'll have to do that translation.
$8? $8?
There you go. $8.
Maybe?
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yep. Are you holding me up now? Are you sticking me up for $8? So just pointing. Are you about to run the jewels on me? What is happening?
I was trying to wait to the chat.
that way.
And,
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where I am. The thing is, it's like I'm pointing the wrong
on
way.
my screen, you just kind of held me up like I need to run the jewels. Who, by the way, as a side note, are performing with Wu-Tang Clan this year. They're touring with Wu-Tang. That's a whole other segue.
Wu-Tang.
Go.
All right.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in my home city because that's awesome. Yes, toward the chat. Go to the chat. Go help out on Kickstarter. Go help out Black Girl Rock. We're gonna get back to our adventure and see if this crazy band of misfits and other folks are gonna go legit by the end of it.
Who knows?
So, who knows? It could all go downhill, and you could all end up as criminal masterminds by the end of it. Who even knows it anymore?
Let's go.
Let's go. So we find ourselves with a couple days to kill and prep for our, lack of a better term, jailbreak. It's a jailbreak is what we signed up for. We've created 2 personalities. We've gotten some level of planning done. And we know that we're going to be scanning some things when we get in to find out that people are going to try to get into the vacuum. What items and other things are we going to, this is the shopping montage style where we have to go steal an EMP from a science center. Yes, I'm making Ocean's 11 references now. What things do we feel we need to prep, and where are we looking to grab? Let's go from there.
I'd say that we probably need to get a spare suit or something for
I'd say 2 spare flight suits is probably in order, 1 for each group, because you don't know who's going to meet up who, and getting her out is a great idea. I'm happy you see that clear level of, if you're not in a flight suit or you can't do, like, if I can make part of my station vacuum, you just can't escape because you'll die. It's a great way to imprison somebody when they just physically can't leave.
True.
Weird how that is. So 2 flight suits, I'm not like, you guys can find 2 flight suits. That's not even like hard. I think they're like 10 credits each. Not even like a big deal. So 1 flight suit for each group, very easy to do. Not a hassle at all. What else do we think we might need in this situation?
Oh boy. Let's see. I have the ability to make things. I'm just trying to think what I need, anything I could make. Reusable grenade shells, obviously. I don't know if anybody else has grenades, but they're very good for blowing things up. Holes in walls.
Yeah, I've got a few grenades.
We're going to get some explosives because they solve everything. What is it? What is there? Is a problem that there's never been a problem with a sufficient amount of high explosives could not solve, I believe is the old adage.
Exactly. See, we're on the same page. This is the just in case we need to escape very quickly. I have all my spell chips, so we're good there.
Okay.
Double check. Let me check what the amp pool does.
We need suits, like actual suits, professional attire, because I don't think that we dress up in that on a day-to-day basis. But if you're going in as the reputation that we are going in with, we need like professional suits.
We need to look good, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think an extra part of their disguise. So
We look fashionable. All right. Actually, that does work.
Okay.
That's what that's where I was looking up for the others, the spell amp pool, which is glow up. A nice little, a nice little magical spell that helps out with us looking fancy.
So we're gonna go get some bespoke. Is what I hear.
Yes.
Sounds good. What else are we thinking? So we got some grenade. How many grenades are we looking to get or make?
So I can, if you guys buy the grenades, I can make the reusable grenade shell, and that just regenerates the grenade after like 24 hours.
Mhm. Yep.
So if you have like, we have what? How many days?
You're like 4 left. If you're looking to get there one day before everybody else is.
Yeah. So I can
That
make.
sounds like the plan
one-
right now is one day.
I can make
before.
one a day, so everyone can get one.
Okay.
awesome.
And then you're gonna buy some grenades as well, which you can just buy some grenades. I'm not gonna hinder your ability to move around and buy things.
Fair.
There.
Go ahead and give me those crafts rolls, though.
All right. So I have a craft of 18,
Nice.
and that is a 12 on top of that. So
So 30. All right, you're fine.
30.
All right. Sounds
So that-
good. You can make
But
good. I was gonna.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not gonna roll each one individually. I'm just gonna have you roll for the batch of the things because we don't need to.
Okay.
We're not pressed for time. 1 and 2. Like this is the only game we're running of this. So I don't need to be keeping that level of track. So I'm not that. Let's you just. But yeah, go ahead and people do spend the credits because you guys do have some credits to. You had some credits from the last haul. You got about
That's true.
170,000 credits. You can buy the grenades you want to buy with that situation. So people should pick which grenades they're going to buy. Because keep in mind, the grenade you put in there is important. If it's a big boomy grenade, it's very different from a flashbang or a tear gas grenade or whatever other grenade you're buying.
Well, I've already got the frags and the flash because
time to
Yeah,
slip them
policies.
on in there. Then you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So go ahead
And I will
and
make
figure out.
I'll make sure Sylvester and I will also have spell amp pools called Glow Up, which gives us a +1 to our diplomacy checks to make an impression.
Well, there you go.
yep, tear gas isn't probably going to be too useful given where we're going.
Are we changing out our armor? Are we going to try to get some glamored armor? What are we doing for the situation involving the sneaking in? Because either we're showing up unarmored, which seems more dangerous, or we're gonna figure out how we're gonna get our armor in the situation.
I say we show up in glamored armor.
Yeah.
If we're for the infiltration, the talking guys, I should say, the distraction, we should go for glamored armor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're just gonna. Okay. We're gonna just take out our. Are we gonna do the thing where we unslot an armor mod and slot in the glamour mod? Is the plan? I take it, or
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be that way because I used my 1 upgrade slot. So yeah, I'll slam in a glamour slot in there instead.
go ahead and make me that crafts roll. Make those individually. One for you and one
Okay.
for Sylvester, because you are the crafter in here, and that is actually a thing you can do with crafts in this game. You can just change out your
35
armor.
with a
Okay.
18 and 17.
Good. All right.
And it's only a 28.
You're fine. I think it's a DC 25 to 20 or 25. It's not very high at this level.
So
Yeah.
so Sylvester and I both of us have now glamored armor. So how do we want to describe that?
Basically, it makes it appear like you're wearing nice bespoke suits with little hollow projectors and all sorts of other stuff. Like that is how that works in that situation. You're running tech armor. You're not installing runes, which is a whole other situation, which is how it would work if you're playing Pathfinder. You basically teched out your armor so it looks like a bespoke suit. Instead, it's going to give you that light armor protection, which is a good idea. So that's a great way to be about that, for lack of any better term. What are our other? That sounds like our. Do we also have anything else we're going to try to smuggle in, other than probably the weapon? Like you're not going to be able to carry everything. maybe a couple weapons because you are gangsters, but it's not like you're gonna be able to carry a bazooka and crazy. Is there anything else you're gonna try to smuggle in or get other things for to try to swap out? Because we're kind of in that spending money, make money phase of the operation, which happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, luckily, the weapon that I have, the assassin rifle, can break down, so it's easy to transport.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if Sylvester needs anything, or are we just going to be beating people to death with our minds?
I think that is going to be the vibe. I can't think of anything specific that we would need. Yeah, I think for the.
Do you have enough med packs? Just in case.
Oh, we don't have
I have 5,
any
just in
med
case.
packs, actually.
Cool. Because I will be with you.
You got 5.
I got 5 of them.
Medicine.
I'll put 5 on it.
Not. Mhm.
Sorry?
That was bad. I heard you, but that was bad. That is a very song reference that he's got 5 on it. That's an American song. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That international flavor sometimes we just that's a good and bad one simultaneously. It's a you know what you did moment.
Yes, I am absolutely aware of what I've done.
But yes, so that covers our infiltration. I guess that's not our infiltration. That covers our deception guys. How are our infiltration folks doing? What are they feeling? What do they got going on? Sounds like they're traveling through the void of space to try to infiltrate through the other networks, is what I'm hearing. Correct?
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, we don't really need anything to hack into anything, though. I think if you're not going to be with us in terms of computer stuff, is there anything you can give us that will like scramble any visuals beyond us being invisible?
I think you guys being
With,
invisible is going to be the best bet.
Yeah, but Nico isn't going to be invisible when
I have
we
a
get
spare.
them.
I have a spare invisibility mod.
Oh, okay. For
Oh,
both flight suits?
Just
have just
one.
one.
Putting it on yours is probably the better bet.
Yeah.
Because I will say, if the plan is the sneaky people will sneak in and you're going to get her out invisibly, then Gap being that one. And it's not like you guys can't hide in the rafters and then help them shoot their way out in the other plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the other plan is the party can meet up at the jail cell and fight your way out of the situation if you need to.
Which is what I'm assuming. I'm defaulting to that being what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
fair.
I don't know if it is.
In that case, I should probably swap one of my armor mods for invisibility. Do I give it the jetpack or the force field?
Ooh, that's tough.
It is.
Probably mechanically, probably the jetpack, because you're going to be in a space station that's in 0G, and jetpacks do not work in no flight does not work in full 0G environments.
Oh, well then that's a significantly easier question.
Yeah, flight according to the way they made the rules, flight requires like gravity and other things. The rules for 0G deal with this idea of like everything kind of floating and you having to maintain your ability to figure out how you're headed. And there are things and roles and other stuff.
Do we have like mag boots or can we
You can get some, yeah.
something to
Those are
yeah.
equipment you can definitely get.
Okay.
So go ahead and
Ooh, do we just see a full
we're gonna
suite of
knock
those
off
with
the
mag boots?
Mag boot. Mhm.
Sorry?
So 2 sets of mag boot is also good. Make sure to mark off that 10K for that invisibility module. You're getting the good one. Mhm.
Oh, I was just gonna give them mine.
Well, they
Go
need
ahead.
2 because they need 1 for the heavy armor and 1 for the flight suit.
Fair. Okay.
Right. Let me just
So mark those off and go ahead and give me the roll for installing those invisibility mods because
Crafting-
that way. You
crafting.
could watch this roll all go downhill. The whole plan could hinder on that.
That's 29.
Okay. One more because we're
Just one
installing 2.
more.
Sounds like
Okay. That is
making you roll.
That is significantly worse. I rolled a 5 this time. So that is
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
20?
No, it's not a 20. So it's 23.
23. Okay, you're good. All right. If you
all
go
right.
under a 20, if you roll less than a 20, let me know. That's when I will do things.
Less than a 20 would be a
And-
1.
It happens.
It does happen. I'm
happens.
so you know.
It absolutely happens 5% of the time.
Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the critical failure, critical success system. So if that subtracts 10 from the roll as well. So it could end up being a critical failure, which is something I get to
Could
play
be
around
really
with later.
bad.
Oh.
It could be really bad. It could be horribly bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead, because I assume we're probably going to do some like low-level scouting and low-level like trying to find computer like layouts of the place and things like that. So go ahead, and whoever's going to give me some scouting of like the space station and like through computers, go ahead and give me that roll, and we can figure out what information we get from that.
Ooh, what role would that be?
That's going to be a computers roll.
Oh, okay. Not me.
Is anyone else good at
Not you.
computers?
No.
I think you're the only one.
Oh no.
Well, you know,
No,
so-
no, you give us the data and then I can follow it.
Good.
Well,
Soldiers
you're
don't
saying-
compute good; they shoot good.
Oh,
You give me the data and I can commit it to memory just fine.
Mm-hmm.
sure. I guess I don't need to sleep because I am dead. So.
Hey, see, all works out.
Screw it. I'll do the roll on that one too. I don't need to sleep. We're good.
I mean, I assume you're going to sleep right before you go do this thing. That's a whole other conversation, though.
Yeah, full on like a day before I actually do this. But yeah, okay. I'll roll computer too. The computer is at 20. I have a mastery
you
in
go.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a 30, just flat. Or
30
30
flat.
even. Excuse me. I rolled 10. So
Okay.
So to 30 even, you can find out and make some logical guesses and assumptions. So this is an old converted like stopover station for like for non-drift drive engines. So this would be something that would be like, hey, we're in system drive. So this used to basically be what the equivalency of a gas station. Given that you know that a lot of this place doesn't need environment, you're going to make the assumption that like probably most of the whole outer ring, with the exception of like the docking port area, don't have atmosphere. They're just not, they just don't keep on the atmosphere because there's no point. It makes a really good prison when they're out. You can also kind of make the assessment that the old like container areas where you used to store the fuel is probably what's been converted to the prison area itself based upon the layout, because it's again a situation where there's an elevator shaft down into it, exterior type situation. But you do know that if you could get like our two infiltrators, if they could get into like the pumping section and basically traverse the area, they could probably climb down a lot of that and bypass a lot of security if they can get in through like the pumps based upon like logical assumptions for how you can direct this place. You don't know where the sensors would be. You don't know what they were going to need to avoid, or when where they might need to be more invisible versus stealth. Go ahead.
would this be a good opportunity to say that I've been looking at the skill feats and I can use adaptive talent to grab one called Fool the Cameras?
Sure.
So Fool the Cameras is the only thing it says is you know how to fool cameras, or you know how to fool security. Using combination of the right attire and actions at the right exact moment, you know how to fool security cameras and tech items that confer special senses, such as scope. So would I be able to use that in this situation for them?
Not yourself, but you'd be able to use it in a situation when you're in the area to make sure that people don't find your weapons or other things, or the extra flight suit or the stuff you're trying to hide to smuggle into this area would be very useful for you in that situation. You can also I would also say you could use that to make assumptions where the cameras and some of the security features that they might run into. So that's going to give them a circumstantial penalty when they start doing their stealth checks, because they could guesstimate where that would be, not necessarily know for sure, though, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. So
Fair enough.
So you basically have some guesstimations in that situation.
That's what we can work off right now.
And yeah, so they can basically, if they can get to basically the pump station, prop them where the pumps, where the fuel lines would run, where the old fuel stocks were, they can bypass a lot of stuff and basically just climb down that shaft to get to where the prison area would probably be. They may have to cut their way out afterwards. They might have to do some removal of some physical obstructions, but overall, it's definitely, if they can maintain their stealth, it'll be much easier to deal with than trying to shoot your way into this place. Shooting your way in and out is gonna be a bit rougher. You definitely can try to escape through the legitimate area, or you could also try to again escape through the fuel line, what used to be the fuel area, the fuel store, because why would they be using that? Again, this is converting something into a jail type situation.
True. I'm thinking we're going to try to escape through the fuel tank just in case.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
So we're looking at like one way in through the fuel lines and one way out, like two ways in and two ways out, depending on how it all goes. Yeah, an escape plan out through this way and an escape plan out in through that way. Okay.
So is there like a cutter that we should have to get through the hull of the ship?
I mean, you can definitely get. Yeah, you can definitely get a mag cutter to cut through the halls of the station if you need to.
Yeah.
Where it's something you know that it's definitely something you can acquire. It's not super expensive. It'll just come down to which one of the two of you is going to be using it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, probably be, but you know.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be you.
I'll hold on to it, and you know, see how it goes.
Yeah, I can't take any more stuff.
Neither can I. Have to be really careful. I have full bulk right now.
Well, that's what the soldier is for, right?
Oh, really? Jeez, y'all some lightweights.
Exactly.
I believe our Pathra is like one away from max bulk. No, soldiers get more bulk than everybody else. They just get to carry everything. Like, be it the reduction you get for armor weight and everything else that goes along with that, you get a lot of bulk. But I believe we are at the point where we can start this heist, it sounds like, because it looks like most things are in place, unless there's something else somebody else is thinking, like, what we need to make sure we do.
I can't think of anything. No. Anybody else got anything?
Me neither. What's that mag cutter called? I can't seem to find it in the item list.
Let me see if I can find my book. Yeah. Go into the equipment list to take a look. Un momento, por favor. That'll be
the best part of the game is when you have to look at the item.
Yeah, you have to look at the equipment in the book. It is what makes all games work appropriately in the most appropriate way is looking in the mechanical section to be like, oh, this will do a thing. Why would I not immediately have all of this stuff? God.
Exactly.
Games, I'm looking, not an auto grappler.
I mean, we could just say we have it if we can't find it.
We can just say we have it. I'm not going to try to figure out where it fits together because in my brain, it's probably part of the infiltration cool set at this point because that was something somebody who infiltrates places has. So that's what we're going to go with.
Makes sense. Let's go.
Works for me.
All right. So it sounds like we are possibly jettisoning our two party members out into space so they can start making their way downtown. And you guys are going to be docking with the space station with your fake credentials.
Yes, let's go.
All right. Well, I think we're going to start with credential crew and then move to our outer space team. Yes, go ahead.
Before we start, I would like to use a spell. It's called Read Omens. It basically says you peek into the future, choose a particular goal or activity you plan to engage in within 1 week, or an event you expect to happen within 1 week. You learn a cryptic clue or piece of advice that could help you with the chosen event. often in the form of a rhyme or an omen. So I would like to use that to peek into the future and see how rescuing Miko is going to go.
All right. Can you read the spell for me one more time?
Yeah, it says choose a particular goal or activity you plan to engage in within 1 week.
Mm-hmm. So the goal would be rescuing Miko, or the goal would be something else. I want to be clear about what you're saying the goal is. Wording becomes important now. We've come to the Fey bargain part of the game.
That's how it is with magic.
You can also tell me what your intent to look for behind it is as well. If you're not so sure about the wording, you're like, my intent is to find out this thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Or?
My intention, yeah, it does make sense. I'm just trying to think of how to phrase this. Okay. So I think it would be, are we going to find Miko alive? Firstly, like that is the intention. Like, are they lying about Miko still being alive? And is what sort of roadblocks could the fly team face on their way to the thing that we haven't considered yet? That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So as for the question of will you find Miko alive, the answer to that is yes. I will be very blunt about, I'm not going to try to, like, you get clear confirmation that she is still alive. What the, what's the best way to put this? The thing you see that you could not have necessarily foreseen is you get pictures of bones, you get pictures of teeth, you get imagery of teeth, and you get imagery of, like, what's the best way to put it? Like fear, teeth, and bones, aka possibly some sort of necromantic creature that you didn't think about. Because keep in mind, you're dealing with necromancers who could just put a monster somewhere that doesn't need atmosphere because they're necromancers. You've thought really hard about mundane security, but not necessarily about magical monsters in the way. So there could be a roadblock there. You definitely glean that from the spell.
Okay. I'm going to let the others know about this. Yeah. And if we need to buff our firepower for the people going in, now would be the time. Yeah.
What would take out a magical monster of undead creation?
Spirit damage.
Technically, all types of damage affect it. Some of it just affects it more. They are not like immune to a type of damage.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that does spirit damage.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot it a whole lot.
So far, I got my roto laser. Served me well in pretty much every situation so far. But if you got something more effective in mind, I'm certainly open to options.
Yeah, spirit fire also tends to work pretty well, and base lasers do fire damage.
Yep, that is exactly what the rotor laser does. So hey, I'm
we're also going to be in a void, right? We're going to be in space.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do fire damage in space?
Lasers.
Lasers damage type is fire. They still work in space just fine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, this is not a hard science game, luckily, so we don't have to worry about that. There's a level of tech and magic. They're just like, this is declared to be this damage type, so it does this much damage. It does this type.
It's not gonna start a fire, but it is still a laser.
Yeah, it will not start a fire, but it will deal fire damage to an undead creature.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think that's it on that end.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, we're dropping off the.
Wait. Oh, I lied. I need my disguise checks from my
all right.
from my operative who is here to disguise people with deception.
Me?
Yep, you.
That's
I
okay,
see your
yeah.
disguise.
I was just like, I'm completely confused. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was helping, but oh no. Oh dear. The dice has rolled away.
Has betrayed you?
I will aid
No,
that, by
because
the
it rolled a
way.
nat 20.
Oh,
There
dang.
you go. Ooh, that's really
Rolled a
good.
critical.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
So
Hooray.
add your disguise to that, and then you technically add plus 10 because, well, you mean you just get an extra level of success. So
Okay.
if you succeed, you're now
so
considered to have clearly succeed on disguising them.
my deception. So
Mhm.
35 plus 10, 45?
Not in this case, because you rolled a 20, it's just an extra level of success automatically. So you critically succeed at disguising them. So
Right.
you've managed to hide those antennas. You've managed to make everything flow with the suit. You found a spot where the hologram was a little glitchy on the glamour armor and had them patch it up. Everything, the Lashunta looks like a human. They look like a human who's probably some sort of undead, but they can kind of try to fake their way through whatever type of undead they're going to try to be. I don't know if you have a particular type of undead you want to try to fake. I'll let you pick that because you will need to make an appropriate lore check at that some point in time, maybe.
Easy.
You change the fur color of our friend here. So the Skittermander looks like they're dark black fur with like they're tuxedoed now, as they were brown before. You know, tuxedo colored Skittermander. They just like they're wearing that tuxedo cat look. And it's very like they don't look the same. You did a nice little scar across the eye. Like you gave distinct features that if somebody saw this person, they'd be like, that's them, and then you put them right next to your friend. That clearly Fury, what is it? The Lelvester Fury is clearly not Sylvester. Like they are not the same person.
Yeah.
They could not be mistaken. You put lifts in the shoes. It all doesn't like you made a perfectly great job of making them not look the same.
Yeah.
Excellent work as always, Kukoi.
Yeah. Yeah. So they pass for the people whose credentials they plus some, and you found little flaws in the things that other people might not have seen. Do we pick out who our other type of undead we're faking it being is? Do we have a thing there? Clearly not a zombie because you're
not a zombie. Okay.
Not a zombie. Zombies are mindless undead. You're clearly not a mindless undead.
This is true. I'm actually looking up undead right now to get a rough idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have?
There's a handful of undead that you can try to pretend to be. So,
okay, some guidance on that one.
So there's actually like a list of this is like a really weird sidebar because that particular planet. And prior to the fleet leaving, and even after the fleet left, they cater to all undead types. So you could be like a wraith or a ghoul or like an undead type that is clearly sentient and sapient, and not just a mindless undead. So like, if you wanted to be like a damn fear, that would also count. But all the types of like undead that like usually you would consider be like, oh, that's an intelligent undead. They're just part of their civilization and society. Like they all have roles in society and they function like they would anywhere else. Instead of being like monsters you would fight, they function as people who have roles in like a normal job. Like you can be like, oh, I have to report to my boss who's a ghoul. Like that's just a thing there. So you can pick any of those undead types.
I think we'll default to ghoul because I'm thinking of wraiths. And I'm going, I can't fly. That's not gonna work.
But
so
you can
default to ghoul.
You can be like, flesh is so tasty.
Yeah, see, that one's easy.
Until they offer you like brains, and then you have to eat them, and then it's a little awkward. But yeah. There you go. You do what you gotta do with the mission.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Spleen.
Commit to the bit.
Gotta commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's super set up. And it is also expected the Skittermander is not undead, so you'll only be taken through areas with atmosphere because they don't want you to kill. They clearly don't want to kill your guy here, because he is your servant, and that would be rude.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So you release your two friends into the void of space as you approach. You fly in. You dock with the space station, and your ship is there docked. You proceed to get out. Your credentials pass. And they show you in. You start moving around the station. You move through a little bit of area that clearly doesn't have any atmosphere, because your Skittermander buddy keeps their face mask on, so they're not exposed to the vacuum of space. And they take you through, and you quickly notice that you were real correct to not try to sneak a bunch of people through. Most of the staff here is real undead. It's skeletons doing things. It's a lot of manual labor is clearly being placed on the undead, the undead here.
Lesser undead.
Mindless undead, for lack of any better term. If they have the mindless tag, they're doing labor here. The ability to sneak people onto this place with only one of them being undead would have been a lot harder than just trying to sneak a pair on here. It could have been doable with enough force of personality, but actually splitting it so the other group was moving through the void and being sneaky may be the way to go. But you head through. They show you in. They offer you some drinks and things of that nature. You would like? Are you going to try to participate in that type of situation, like eating and drinking? And by eating and drinking, I mean legitimately they're offering you a goblet with some blood in it and things of that nature, because you're supposed to be a ghoul.
Oh boy. Commit to the bit where he's got to make a good impression. He's got to make a good first impression. So this is in this case I would roll. Deception is acceptable here, correct?
Are you attempting to not drink the item and make a good first impression? Or are you attempting to just, I'm going to drink this and make it look like I enjoy it? Because there's different.
I'm going to drink it and make it look like I enjoy it.
So roll me a deception check to make sure you look like you enjoy it, and give me a fortitude save for just not the unpleasantness of the situation.
All right, I roll a 15 on deception.
We're probably fine.
All right, yeah, my deception of also 15. Hang on a sec. Deception of 18, actually. So
yeah, your DC was 25. You're fine to make the great impression. Now give me the fortitude save.
Fortitude is 16, and that is a 17 on top of it.
Oh, you're fine. You stomach it, you keep it down, you look like you're impressed. You're like, this is so tasty, so good. So good.
Aged blood? What is this?
This is a 406 Gap vintage. This is so good. Nom nom. They offer your Skittermander crackers and water. They're not really sure what to give the living person to a degree. Because you can quickly find out through small talk, because you rolled so well in your deception check, that the party planner who's here for the people that'll be here in the next 2 days hasn't arrived yet. So their idea of what to feed living people is bare minimum nutritional standards, because they don't. They just don't. This isn't on their list of things they do. This is putting on errors for people they don't care about, for lack of any better terms.
That's fair.
Makes sense.
So there's some crackers and mush for the Skittermander. It's like water that's clearly not been filtered. It's drinkable, but it's not great. And then it's really not good, crackers / shitty biscuit type stuff. It's like a scone that's gone bad. That's what they're offering.
Sylvester is doing his best to not be his usual excitable, hyperactive self, and just looks at the crackers, looks at the water, and just gruffs.
Give me a deception check. You're being you're being sneaky.
He just deception. Give me something good.
Please.
That's a 33. Let's go.
that's you are very scary. You're clearly very intimidating. You're there to bodyguard. You're doing the professional bodyguard thing. You're not eating the food because it could be laced with something bad. Good call. Yeah. You're looking very professional bodyguard right now.
Yeah. And he crosses all 6 of his arms and he just looks around, just trying to do his best bodyguard impression.
Does he cross all 6 of them, or just the top pair? Is it all 6 sets of cross arms? All 6 of them?
Three sets of arms, yeah.
Yeah, all six arms are crossed, just looking angrily. Just being like, whatever. I don't even like crackers. I don't even like scones. Biscuits suck.
Is bread? It's for pores.
Yeah, where's my cake?
Mr. Fury only eats cake. But yeah. So you get through that as you're doing the small niceties and talk. We're gonna pan away and see these two bodies floating in the void. What are we doing?
I think that I can't imagine that completely just floating in the void would have been a good, like we would have to been like close enough that we could detach from, maybe we rode the ship in a little and then
You did,
detach
but you're
onto the
floating
ship.
toward the station. You're trying to make
Yeah.
yourself look like debris floating toward the station, not like two people in spacesuits who are here
Yeah.
to rescue somebody. Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of doing the slow float towards your destination. It's really like, it's one of those things where like, you know how momentum works, you know how the science works, and you know you want to look like debris. You're a professional operative. You've infiltrated situations like this before. You did detach at all the right times, but it is boring. It is the worst. It is the most hurry up and wait part of these types of jobs, where you're just spending your time floating towards your objective.
I think that this is possibly the time that Kukui uses to center herself and just kind of, okay, this is the objective, this is the layout that we've got given, or like this is all the details, and it's just running through them at that time and kind of, whilst kind of keeping a general eye, is very relaxed so as not to trip anything.
Okay. Anything from Arvesk? I see you've changed your camera so that you are in the darkness and encompassing being.
That's
Role playing
yeah,
appropriate.
it's fine. It works. Yep, time marches on. But well, Takarami Twilight is she's fairly quiet. Doesn't really have much to say in this part because it's not the shoot somebody part. It's not the running part. This is it's like you said. This is the boring part. It's this is the vegetables you have to eat in order to get to the dessert of the mission.
Are you playing solitaire and your head's up this way?
No, it's a Sargonoid.
You both do the float, and eventually you get to that edge of the object where you're about to bounce into it, and you just kind of latch on with your mag boots. The ka-tunk happens, and you start to. What's up?
Nice and satisfying.
And you start to walk towards effectively like a maintenance hatch, and you get there, and I'll need my first, not nearly our first check on your end of this situation. I will need a thievery to open this hatch that is locked.
Okay, nicely and easily does it. Well, I'm assuming that's me. Yes.
I mean, I'm
My
only trained
job.
in it, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All the expert.
Well, I again only trained 17. Same.
I mean, no, mine's 15. So yep.
Okay. Yeah. That was a 20 in total.
20 in total. So
Yeah.
it takes a few moments, and you clearly realize that you're like, oh, that was the wrong pick to put in the wrong thing. And
Wait, why are we using the key here? If it's like if they have to
Are you
lock
using the
pick
key
it-
here? Are you
What?
using the key here?
We have that for a
your-
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there a limit on how often we can use the
Nope.
key?
No,
So
that's
I
when
would
you guys.
just
Yeah,
I
just
would
use the key
choose-
if you're going to use the key.
yeah.
I need a thievery check. If you choose to use your magical item, you choose to use your magical item. I am not stopping anybody from using it.
Oh, okay. I imagine that it would just be a kind of like, well, this is what the key is for,
Sure.
and it's
Go
also
ahead.
going to leave less of a trace than us trying to like bash
Yep.
away at the.
So you
Sorry.
not a problem. So you place the key, and this is where we get into these things. You take out this old, clearly like classic key that you would see in almost a medieval fantasy that looks almost completely out of place here. and you press it against the latch, and you just hear the click as it opens up, and the hatch opens.
Mhm.
I have long since tuned my crystal lens to not pick up the key because that does get kind of obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I mean, I could do it myself, but why waste the time?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So you open it up, and in front of you, you see darkness. I assume both of you have dark vision of some sort
Yeah.
from something. I'm going to
I
go on a
am-
limb there.
I am a Night Stalker vest, so yes, I have dark vision.
So
Yeah.
we've got dark vision and dark vision. And it takes a millisecond for your dark vision from your different means to kick in. And you can tell that you are looking at effectively like the maintenance hatch to exactly where you needed to be on the pumping stations. So now you have these what would have been big fuel lines. Like, and what I mean by big fuel lines, I mean fuel lines that are like 7 feet in diameter. These were for fueling starships.
Mhm.
So you can easily, like, if you're not vertically or horizontally, like trying to span out and fill the whole fuel line, you can easily just float down these fuel lines. The only downside is even with dark vision, they're still really dark. Like
Mhm.
you're in the void of space. There's the thing. You might want to flip on a light, but then again, go ahead.
I feel like I can just orient myself pretty well with using a combination of long whiskered and like
You
being
can,
able
yeah,
to
for sure.
yeah, so maybe it's kind of just following me in a
Sure.
like you or attach like a loose connection to my suit from yours and
I mean, you can run a
Okay.
cable between the two of you. You can
Yeah.
definitely orient yourself, but you also know by the time you run across something in this tube, it's going to be real on top of you because you only have like 15 feet of that.
what a
Of-
oh okay, and that's the same using the electric magnetic whiskers.
Yeah, your magnetic whiskers have a 15-foot.
15
15.
foot, yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
And you're going to be, if you turn on a light, you'll know you'll be able to see something before you're able to sense it because it's going to like
Yeah.
go out and you're going to be able to see with your full dark vision.
But it will be able to see us as well, right?
I mean, it depends on how it sees. Like,
I guess, yeah.
It's if it's an undead creature of some sort in a pipe, light is
Else,
less
yeah.
likely to be like, I see, because they don't see light, they sense stuff more than they
Okay.
see light. Like, this is one of those cases where, like, yeah, if it's an undead creature, if it's sensing you within 15 feet, it's already close enough to do something about it.
Yeah.
If you see it, even with a dim light at 120 feet, it
Yeah.
might not know you're there still because
Okay.
it might not see. It's not like we're not dealing with something that is like, I have rods and cones and I can, like, we're dealing with something that senses because it's been reanimated. And that's a
Mhm.
little different.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can definitely try to maneuver it with your whiskers in total darkness. That is a valid way to go about it. Or you could flip
No,
on
I-
a light and try to make use of
I
your
think I'll
darkness.
flip over flip on a light.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. So you flip, just both of you flip on a light?
Do you
I
think
think-
we both need it?
No. I think
Well, if only one of us is, then I'll turn on the light.
okay. As in you're the thing that people can see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if someone's gonna be noticed, I'd rather it be me than you.
Yeah.
right.
Well, you and me both. I wonder do we know, did we get a heads up about where the cameras might be?
You have a guesstimation of where the cameras are. You know you're probably not gonna hit cameras until you hit the junction between like the pipelines that run to the tube into the tanks.
Okay.
There's putting cameras in the tanks or in the tubes feels like a giant waste of camera because
Mhm.
it's dark. It's a big dark tube. They'd have to light the cameras up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, why would anyone bother going that way? There's no atmosphere.
yeah. It's the same issue you're running into, the cameras would run into, is that there's no light to see with these cameras. So you'd have to, once again, light them up, making them probably easier to see from further away than when you got there.
Okay.
But when you get to that junction point where all these things kind of open up into other areas, there's probably cameras there because that area is probably lit. That area has a lot of other situations going on. So you're pretty sure you have till you get through the tube until you see a camera.
Okay.
So you turn on the light. Do you guys float down, or you mag boot your way down the tube? Do you like use your mag boots to walk down it, or do you float down it?
I think floating is good with me. Like we can slightly propel ourselves down without. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm just thinking vibrationally, like
Mhm.
the stomping. We're trying
Yeah.
to go without a trace type thing.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Makes sense.
It is. You are correct. It is much stompier. My cat has zoomies now. It is much more stompy and harder to be stealthy when you're using your magnetic boots. So you guys are going to float down. Go ahead and give me a stealth check, or you could use your feet to make the stealth check for the group if you would like to, because you did take that feat.
Yes, I think that I will, if that's okay.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
The
fine.
operative took a feat that let them stealth the whole group with one roll. No, that's not an
Yes.
operative.
No, I want to do it myself.
Okay, that is a 38.
Okay. So you guide and float down yourself and your vest companion, and go ahead as we approach probably around the midway point of the tunnel. Give me perception checks. Because you chose to float, because you were stealthy.
29.
Okay. What's our vest get?
Oh boy.
Not great.
Oh boy.
What was it?
Are you sneaking away into the darkness here?
Wait, 18 total. Have I fallen off the internet again?
Oh, no, we just didn't hear you say 18.
Ah, okay.
So at a 29,
Mm-hmm.
you don't notice this thing until you're within the 15 feet of your whiskers. But it doesn't seem to notice you either. As you look up as you're floating by with your really high stealth check, you see what looks like the amalgamation of like a Pac-Man-esque mouth that's got rows of teeth that is just bone, and it's got probably a half a dozen sets of limbs that are having it latched to the ceiling. It doesn't seem to have noticed you even with the light on, because again, this thing probably doesn't sense light. It's in a super dark tunnel where light is not a thing. So building it to sense light means it's probably not built that way. But because of how stealthy you've led the group, it doesn't seem to notice you either.
I think we're just going to keep going past. Like, what do we do?
Okay.
Because,
Don't worry
I mean,
about it.
I'm not even going to, I'm just going to, like, the watchword is we're going to be quiet. We're all the way down. I'm letting, so it's just, we're just keeping that stealth as it is. Because it was
Do you
what, a
point
30?
it out to the Vesk, or you just make sure they don't run, they don't do a thing? Because you don't notice until you're almost right on top of it.
Yeah, I think I am used to the like controlling the emotions in this kind of situation. So we're just gonna go like we're going past. It's kind of like a gentle I will tell you later, and going
Right.
going onwards. And then
Go
I will
on.
like when we are further away from it down the way, then I'll be like, saw the thing, it's at the junction. But we're good. We got past it. We just carrying it on. We'll have to deal with it on the way out. Maybe.
Well, yeah.
So you go another like 300-ish meters, and you get to the junction point where you know the cameras are going to be. And we're gonna scooch back to our social infiltration group, because again, I love leaving on cliffhangers, so nerves are high because I'm that guy. So you've been fed your blood. It was delicious. It was clearly a 406 vintage, and your bodyguard does not want this mush. They are very scary now. You were actually impressed because Sylvester looks pretty scary. Like all 6 arms crossed. Like they're doing the work. They committed to the bit, as you said earlier.
Yeah,
And they would and I feel like you kind of moved the conversation along to the point where you're like, oh, I would like to see the merchandise, is what it kind of feels like is happening now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
All right. So they take you from like the waiting reception area that you're in to like a set of elevators, and you start heading down them. And are you doing anything like counting floors or looking over the security or trying to spot anything?
So we're
or
so we're going to be looking. We're going to be looking for obviously any obvious guards, notable security cameras, or so I can use fool the cameras just in case, and then guesstimating floor and rough like floor layouts. There's only so much that I can do while in an elevator, but I can count the amount of floors, and there we can start making some better guesstimations with the layout.
All right. So you can quickly tell that like the guards at the elevator when you walk in are skeletons. Again, you have got these mindless undead that are keeping the place hosted, which means again, you can't bribe them, you can't pay them, you can't fool them in other ways. Like, yes, you can't fool them in some ways, but you also clearly can't fool them in other ways type situation. There's cameras in the hallway which you can choose to fool with your cool ability. But there's definitely cameras once you start getting into the like, hey, this is the prison part of the situation. Like the hallway has cameras. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay, perception is not one of my better ones. Only 17.
Or you have crafts, don't you?
Yes.
You can give me a crafts roll if you like, as either.
That is better by a single point, and that brings me to 32.
Okay. So you can tell with a 32 that there are probably some automated weapons built into like this hallway as well. Like if somebody's like, you probably have to deal with some automated like weaponry that's possibly going to pop out of the hallway and do some work, and become its own problem. And like that is kind of what that is in the situation. So that's it's like over.
That's if you
and
trip the
under.
alarms, however.
Yeah. That's if you trip the alarms, that's probably happening. When it comes to counting floors, that's really fucking easy. They didn't bother to change the floors on the elevator, like going up and down. So you know that you're 19 levels deep when they come in. The only thing you give me a quick perception check, because this is one of those weird elevator superstitions that's super goofy.
All right, that is 27.
It does not have a floor 13, so you're actually only 18 floors deep if you want to get real technical.
Good catch. Good catch.
Elevator superstitions is you don't actually have a floor 13, and so there's no floor 13, and it skips it in a lot of elevators.
You would think the undead wouldn't be superstitious.
Well, this is a converted station.
This is a converted station. This was not them who built it. So
True.
But yeah,
do we have time to talk, or are the guards too close?
you guys can talk. I mean,
Without being overheard?
probably not without being overheard. Like you're being shown around by like an attaché type person. So this is a case of somebody seeing to your needs and taking care of you type situation. We're gonna name this person because you might murder them later, which is always great to murder named NPCs. So I think we're gonna call them Ozzy, and they are some sort of undead that is showing you around.
You know,
that is
the one
intelligent.
skill that I lack is telepathy, unfortunately. Which is odd for Lashunta, but whatever.
I thought you got limited telepathy with your
You do,
baseline.
but I'm dead.
I don't think you lose that. I think you just gain the heritage traits.
Oh,
You don't lose your other ancestral benefit. Baseline
check.
ones.
Because if I did, that would have been real neat.
I think you keep limited to. I could be wrong. You might lose it, but I'm pretty sure even with your heritages, you keep the very very base thing. It changes out your feet setup.
So the heritage does. So since I did choose the Borai, it overrides Lashunta, so I actually
Even your-
lose that. Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, then.
I'm allowed to, I can choose Lashunta feats if I wanted to. I just didn't do it.
Well, that's
So
not a
actually-
Lashunta feat. That's a Lashunta base trait. It replaces those with other base traits.
Yeah.
All right, there you go then.
Yep, because it counts as both a heritage and so it counts as both a heritage and ancestry.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I got
Dang.
you. Yeah, I'm like, I thought you kept that from being a Lashunta. Apparently, I am wrong.
Nope. Unfortunately, I lose it.
Oh man. There you go.
So, you know, just
No
turn.
telepathy for you.
I know the one skill that I'm lacking out of all the other skills that I have. So, you know, let's give PhD Levester Fury some minor attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looks like he has something to say.
Sylvester's just gonna lean in closer to Nodice and just, pre-gap, the number 13 was actually considered very lucky, and it's so weird to see it being superstitiousized here. I wonder what caused these things. Have you heard anything about why 13 is considered unlucky? Like it was never a thing for us,
You know, that's a question for a not now kind of situation.
Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, I got it. And then he crosses his arms again, and he's like, "Yeah, bodyguard."
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Nothing's more awkward than turning to Ozzy and go, "My bodyguard's curious. They want to know why you don't have a floor 13. We're not going to do that."
Well, their response is very easy. The station came this way. Like, we're not going to add it. It's not worth our time to reprogram it. Like,
fair, completely fair.
Like that is energy that can be spent other places.
True.
If anything can be said about these undead people, they're very efficient. But yeah, so you're taking down 19 floors, which is really 18 floors, and you're taken to a very similar hallway situation. And you were pretty spot on, given the fact that you had the schematics earlier, that they had converted the old like storage area into these holding cells. If you look up, you can kind of even see where not necessarily where your friends may have floated down, but you can see one of the areas they could have floated down from like the fueling area. You can see where these big fuel lines like kind of come out.
So potentially where they're going to come from. Okay.
Potentially where they're going to come from. One of the many areas they could have come from or are coming from right now, or might be able to see you, but you're not exactly sure. But these kind of
we're keeping everything radio quiet.
Mm-hmm. Like these areas kind of just open up. And you can tell that the artificial gravity is basically up to a certain point, if that makes sense. Like they're basically like, we are magically using gravity here, and then everything above this point, we're not bothering to do gravity, because you can see things floating. And like you can see other undead like creatures and servants moving things around and like pushing things around. And it's very clear they can shut the gravity off and move cells around if they wanted to. There's clearly atmosphere in here, but like gravity is optional-ish because it seems it's the easiest way to just move large objects around. When you can turn off gravity, moving around 3 tons is way easier.
Real easy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Why cast levitate when you can stop casting something else? So that's a really quick realization of what's going on in that particular front. As you look up, we're going to pan back to our other group of folks. So as you can see an elevator coming down a long series of floors, you kind of can peek your head out and try to take in where you know these cameras might be. What would our two tube, I was going to say two tube folk, but that's like real hard to say all of a sudden.
Nice little tongue twister there.
Yeah, it weirdly is. What would you like to try to do here? We're kind of in a situation where we got the mad tube action.
So is there a spot that we're trying to get to from here that is also then again covered? we established? Or
There are lots of places you could like kind of get behind the pipes and move behind large crates, large boxes, cells that are unoccupied. There's lots of things that can obstruct camera view in here.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of if the cameras are turned on this spot, it's really easy to find something coming out of the tube.
Okay.
It's
Do we? Is this the point of using
What the?
our invisibility?
probably this is probably the best spot to try to be invisible for that 1 minute, one of your 1 minute invisibility usages to
Yeah.
clear to a place that's going to be easier to stealth around, because you're pretty sure they're just going to like the smartest thing to do is just point a camera and some motion sensors and other things that are going to tell you if something is coming down through the tube at the tube.
Yeah.
It is the simplest, most efficient solution. And the more and more you're in here and the more and more your team is in here, you're quickly picking up the vibe that
That's
these people are
efficiency.
efficient, and the simplest answer is the best answer.
Okay.
Why work hard? Why work harder when you can work smarter? Is
Mhm.
kind of what you're seeing from this group very easily.
Yeah, makes sense.
Put a big thing with teeth in there and leave it alone, and point a camera in a direction.
Yeah,
Job done.
yeah.
Okay. Well, then I guess here we go.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
go ahead and mark our invisibilities off. And kind of as you move out of the tubes, there's like a brief moment of like, okay, something's happening. Like they like you clearly tripped something, but like it takes like 4 seconds for them to be like, all right, nothing's really going on. Because nobody saw anything, the cameras aren't saying anything. You get that like that almost Metal Gear Solid moment of like, what? And then like everything goes back to normal. As you can tell, a bunch of things that don't see invisibility / probably things that aren't living triggered in some fashion and then went back to not being triggered.
Would
Like one of
would our
those.
stealth check still not count for that?
Your stealth check is going to mean that they kind of do the thing where they think something is around, but nobody sees anything, so they automatically stand down. One of those like hiccups in a system.
Okay.
Way less you've been spotted, way more clearly whatever happened when you crossed the
There is
threshold
a
happened.
slight disturbance in the force. Okay.
Yeah, there's a slight disturbance in the force, but you can pretty much tell you haven't been found. This is not like, oh, we've been alerted. This is things that react because something has happened, do their reaction, and then whoever's in charge just shuts it back to normal because there's nothing to see here. And they're also in space. And it technically has open to the exterior or open to the void to a degree. So every once in a while, this is going to happen. One of those, like every once in a while, a cat goes over the wall and trips an alarm. So turn off that part of the alarm real quick because I'm tired of dealing with cats tripping the alarm.
Okay.
The pun was there.
Yeah.
Took a second, but I got it.
So you kind of do that moment, and there's probably a little bit of tension as it's like, but you quickly kind of adapt. Now is the question of figuring out where the prisoner really is. And luckily, as that elevator opens and one of the ramps comes down and you're floating there invisibly behind, some wreckage for at least a little while, you can see the other half of your party slowly being escorted across one of the rampways, clearly under gravity. So at some point in time, that is the perception check I need from the two of you real quick, is to either perception or knowledge nature, whichever one you have, or survival. One of those three.
It's gonna be perception.
Okay.
Yeah, perception is my best.
Yeah. 31.
You're good.
That's better. 30 total.
Yeah, you're fine. 20 was the DC. 20 was the DC to determine where the threshold for gravity was in the area. AKA, when you cross this barrier, you're suddenly going to be affected by gravity normally. So you
don't want a funk happening.
Yeah. No matter how high your stealth check is, a 20-foot fall is still a 20-foot fall and could easily end in a thud. But if you're like, oh, this is the top of the crates and we land here and then we shimmy our way down, that's way easier.
Yeah.
So because you both rolled 30s, you can find a spot where like things are, moved and packed and packaged and done where they're doing things and being like, and you can find kind of a spot to stealth down. It will end shortly, like your invisibility ends shortly around the time you're doing this, unless you want to burn through another charge. But you'll be able to make a stealth check to try to be out of the way if you would like to guide the party with a stealth check.
Yeah, I think I'll have to try that because I don't think it's prudent for us to expend another charge right now versus coming.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Save
I
it
don't
for
know.
save it for when we're making the escape.
Yeah. And now I'm nervous about rolling lower on stealth.
Excuse me.
That's only a 35?
Oh, that's only a 35. That's no, you're fine.
Only a 35.
Well, you know what? It could have been a 40, but it's not. So
It could have been at 40, but it's not. That's super fair. It is not. 35 is fine.
okay.
So you will find your way.
I mean, the self check before still tripped off a trigger, so
I mean, invisibility does not stop a magical effect from happening. So
yeah. Let me see.
So you manage to stealth behind, and with a 35, you can even manage to kind of shadow the other members of the party and keep them in line of sight as the two of you sneak into whatever position you're looking to sneak into. You're hunkered down low. You're holding to the shadows, as our two deceptive individuals do not spot their friends and are taken to a holding cell. And you are they kind of like do like, I don't want to say like a reveal, but they're like, and here she is, like, the main event type situation. And Ozzy goes on to read, and it's Miko. And Miko has not necessarily been treated the best. Like the last time you saw Miko, they were in pretty good shape. This looks like the aftermath of some pretty negative interactions. Like they look a little more malnourished. That's kind of to be expected. They've been captured by undead who don't feed people really well. But they've also, it looks like they've probably had some like grafting done to them, because you can get like necromantic grafts. And it looks like they might have had some necromantic grafting done to them forcefully. It looks like they are not in the best shape. Now, they immediately don't recognize you at all because your disguises are the most top tier, foolproofy, like A+100. Like they don't know you from a hole in the wall. And they just kind of look up kind of dejected, like kind of like they're accepting their fate that they're going to end up probably bought by somebody and executed as like an example. But they don't say anything, but they are clearly having a rough time.
Who is in charge of this place?
Like
Ozzy
in
is
charge,
or yeah.
that would probably give me a recall, knowledge, occultism. The DC is, I'm gonna say 35 to find out the person who's in charge.
So
Like,
we haven't met them.
Ozzy is not the person in charge. They're like the attaché who's showing you around.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm gonna say it's a pretty high occultism check to figure out who, like, to know the
I got a
structure.
26.
26, you can kind of recall that like there's a base commander, probably like a warden style person, but that doesn't necessarily make them in charge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like, so you can get the name of like Warden Prescott, who is probably a vampire of some sort that you've managed to piece together, but they're in charge of the jail. They're not like in charge of the operation, if that makes sense. Like, knowing who's even higher up the ladder than that just seems to be outside of public knowledge and your grasp of what's going on.
Okay.
You can put together Prescott is in charge of the place because Ozzy has mentioned them being kind of in charge of the jail, but they don't mention like who's in charge.
Sylvester immediately squares up almost with Ozzy. We were told that this bounty would be untouched in prime condition, not whatever this is.
Ozzy
We're going
looks
to
a
reduce our
bit-
offer by at least 20%.
Ozzy looks a bit confused and like then looks to like the ghoul and just kind of like doesn't like ignore you, but clearly is talking down. Being like, I appreciate your help thinking that they know what they're talking about, but then like he'll pull up a schematic like a biological overlay and show you like she is way more psychologically in bad places than she is physically. She could, if she got out of the cell, she could run. She clearly has been hurt, but what you can put together, if you want to give me an occultism roll real quick, Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good at this.
Mhm.
Oh, I'll just. I thought I was good at this. 25.
25 is fine. You
Okay.
know for a fact, based upon the biological graph you're reading and the fact that the implants that are listed on it, she's in peak physical health. She's just in that process of what happens when you can start converting someone to being an undead. AKA, she could go through like an undeadification process and come out perfectly fine. She's not in bad physical health. She's probably in bad psychological health at this point in time.
So he's gonna gently, put a hand on his companion's shoulder there. One of many. We can give them a little leeway, I think, at least for this. A high prize like that.
Yeah,
We
like
just gotta. Oh, go ahead.
you know very quickly because you're a Morai and because you know your way around like undead things. This is somebody who is either they can transition back into being a normal person again, or someone can transition them into being something like a ghoul if they wanted to, or they could get into lichdom or vampirism if they wanted to, depending on how darn the scale of undeadness they wanted to go. So they've got like graphs that are going to basically make them immune to disease, but the problem is it makes you look like sickly, like worse than what you normally look like. You've got that sunken cheek situation. Like,
True.
Like your bodyguard is very correct. This does not look like a person in prime health, but to these people, this is somebody who's on their way to leaving back, transitioning into a better position in life.
Yeah, that's why he's stopping Levester.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sure that we'll be able to get a fine price off of it. She's not that bad off,
Mhm.
and we better hear soon, don't you think?
Sylvester immediately takes a step back, remembers where he is. Is like, of course, you are right. I should not have spoken out of place. My bad.
Mhm.
And then he's going to approach the cage a little bit, not too much, and just kind of look Mako over. Can't really say much to her without okay.
As you're doing that, does the other part of the party who can't really hear this exchange, but definitely watches Levester like square up to this random dude they've never seen before, want to react in any fashion?
I imagine. I mean, this is kind of I don't know if this is regular, but I imagine that if there was a case of like them needing us, there would have been a signal, right? As opposed to like.
I'm making sure you guys don't do anything. I want to make people the opportunity to be like, you saw what was clearly about to be a physical confrontation. Some people jump. Some people are like, oh, my dude's squaring off. It's time to
It's time to fuck it. It's on the go.
No.
Like,
no, without a signal.
Maybe in my younger days, I might have jumped in on that, but yeah, we're all professionals here. It's,
we've done this kind of thing a lot.
The signal was 6 crossed arms. You had 6 crossed arms. What am I supposed to do here? I'm just making sure. I want to make sure that nobody didn't want to do the pop off. Sometimes I want to give people the opportunity. We're in that situation where that is a very viable avenue, and I wanted to make sure no one was going to pop off if they got to pop off.
Oh, trust me, I was debating it. I was debating just ending this one dude right here.
Yeah.
It's a fight when somebody starts a fight.
Legit.
But, yeah, so once they're kind of doing that and we're kind of keeping an eye on them, like we know where the target is now, is can we see anything around that might look to prove problematic? if we're gonna go after.
Right now, the biggest problem you need to figure out is how to quickly get past the gravity threshold.
Mhm.
Like, so there's basically this 20 feet of gravity situation where you guys had found some piled up crates and went down it. You're gonna have to find another area that's like, because it's gonna be like a 200 foot sprint to get back to where you were.
Mhm.
And that's enough time for like all of the things that are kind of in this area to re-go, or you can try to get back on the elevator and go back up where they came from if you wanted to try that. But if you wanted to get out where they were from, you need to figure out how to quickly get past the gravity threshold, for lack of any term. There's that area where you're back to being 0G, which is where it's going to be the healthiest, best for you to like be moving. And there's not a good, like right by where the cells are, there isn't a good place to just do that. Like you can clearly avoid a lot of these skeletons and all these other things because you're very stealthy and you have these invisibility suits. But this isn't a case of like, oh, we can just jump. Like you're not clearing a 20-foot jump threshold to just jump past this particular situation.
Right.
Fair.
Is that like a perception check, or is it just?
I will give you acrobatics. I will give you perception, or I will give you survival in any of those three
Okay.
to kind of figure out places you could get past that. Acrobatics applies because like you can kind of do the parkour between cells or something like that to get past the threshold. He was very confused about acrobatics, but it's knowing where how to climb cover distances. Athletics would apply as well if you have a good piece.
Yeah, so I can do either acrobatics or perception. I don't know if
Same. My acrobatics is 16.
Oh,
yeah, 19 and 20. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well then, yeah.
Well, no, I mean it just depends on which is your perception is what.
My perception
Sorry,
is only 14.
I know this is like okay. I'll roll.
So yeah, you're better than me than this.
Oh well, it was a bad roll. So it's only like 23 for perception.
The best spot you found was the spot that you stealthed down at. That is the best spot you can seem to find right now.
Yeah.
If our Vesk wants to make a roll with, let's see. Go ahead and make me a roll with either crafts, computers, or survival.
Well, survival's my best one there, so
Okay.
it's a 29 total.
Nice.
You
Not
can
bad.
tell that these cells, and you put this together from watching the skeletons move stuff around past the gravity threshold. These are all detachable. So if you can find out where this unattaches and turn off the gravity down here, you could just float things around. That is another viable answer to this problem. Rather than taking the person there, you could just shut this down so that you can just float whatever you want.
Mhm.
You can try to turn the whole room. You can turn the gravity off in the whole room if you wanted to try to do that.
All right, so yeah, I'll relay that to Kukui. Either we find some way to get all three of us back across the gravity threshold, or we find some way to turn gravity off entirely. Those cells are detachable.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way we want to do it, but I'm not good at
While you two were talking that
gravity
out, I believe we had our envoy was trying to say something to Miko.
Mhm.
Ooh, he was more trying to give a view of it. I'm not sure what he can say to Miko at this point.
Mhm.
You know, because she doesn't recognize him, which is fine. I have no ability to give her. Quip is for enemies, not for building up people.
Mhm.
Do I just want to shoot this guy right here? No, I'm not gonna do that. We're not gonna pop off right now. But
I mean, it's time to go. It's time to go.
it might be time to go here soon. Let's turn to the guard. Do you know what the other?
I mean, if you want to pop off right now, we have 45 minutes left in the stream. You can pop off right
I'm debating.
now.
I debated what to pop off right now.
But we're doing the stealth.
There's one guard, and I'm standing where cameras can't see me. Do I pull the trigger? No, we're not gonna do this.
No, there are clearly cameras here. Like the cameras can see you. Let's be real
Okay,
clear. Using
yeah,
the camera, you can't see you. They have cameras on this cell. That is
Yeah,
just
and I can't do avoid notice because they're right there.
Yeah.
So like, cause that'd be
You'd have to march him someplace else before you shot him if you didn't want to be on camera.
yeah. So he's gonna turn to the guard and go, what do you think the going rate is for everybody here for this detective?
He'll rattle off a handful of numbers that range from they've already received bids from like upwards of 3 to 5 million with other deals and other connections. She's made quite a few enemies that are willing to pay handsome sums and agreements of trade and commerce to make sure that they are the ones that either get a hold of her or have her appropriately set up so that they can take their time or that they can make it last for all of eternity, which is where you get the realization that they've started this transition process because there are some buyers that want to torture this person.
Yeah, I figured that.
Mhm.
But it's more like he's trying to gauge like how long do they have to do their actual job. Which
you know they're about 36 hours from starting to when everybody getting here and they're going to start bidding. So you have like you have about 36 hours to make this happen.
fair. Okay. Do they have other merchandise?
They do.
Okay.
Most of the other merchandise isn't people. It's like graphs or things that allow them to make graphs or things of that nature. So like the other things that are like the best way to explain the other things that are housed here as part of the prison aren't other prisoners mostly. It's effectively like kind of a farm. So the cages have like necrotic beasts that they're using to make these necrotic graphs where they're like mindless undead that you don't just want raging around. They keep them contained in this type of environment.
The reason I was asking was to get a kind of a layout of the prison floor, so he kind of would.
If he wanted to show you around, he'll start marching you. He'll be like, "Oh, we need to go to a different area." AKA, he's not going to take like they don't keep the lot. Like these guys are again, we're back to simple but intelligent. They don't keep the human live prisoner the same place they keep the necromantic constructs that they harvest their grafting from. They're two separate sections. They're doing
that's kind of what I was trying to get an idea of.
This would be the time that you could probably march him to a place where there isn't a camera directly on him if you wanted to pop off. Like you could definitely do that now. That's your plan. But like he's going to take you away from this prison or away from this section of the prison. You're basically going to be moved to another converted tank
area. Yeah.
It's the same layout, but in a different tank in a different area type situation.
Yeah. Is there any way I can leave a marker to let them know, hey, this is where Mako is? I'm pretty sure they know this is where Mako is, but I'm wondering if there's room I can mark the cell for later. Because he doesn't know it there, but they can see him.
Yeah. I mean, you could always place your hand on it somewhere and put like an X on it or something.
Sure,
you always do something like that.
We'll glad hand it a little bit. Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a quick thievery check then.
All right.
For a sleight of hand.
27.
Yeah, you can place your hand on it and be like, we'll be back for you soon enough type situation where you can mark it without the guy noticing with a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, it's pretty much giving Mako a quick wink and a nod and going, I'm sure we'll be seeing each other very soon.
Mm-hmm. And she's very much like, I'm sure we will. It's kind of it's defeated, but it's not like complete. Like there's still some like, I'm bucking the system left in the person.
Good. She'll need that. She'll need that when the chaos begins.
So
Resolved with defiant. I like it.
I want to know how spellcasting works, and there's no like verbal somatic components to it. So how like some of the spells say that I have to do a flourish to cast it or whatever, but the others don't. So like, how do I?
There are spells that have verbal and semantic components that's going to say V or S with it. If you're looking to cast subtly, I don't know if the Witch Worker has that ability. I don't think it
I just missed
does.
it.
I think
It's going to be in the spell description individually because there's a whole section on silencers stopping people from being able to cast spell with verbal components if you have the high end one, because it literally makes it so they can't talk. Silencers actually physically silence people magically.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yes, there are verbal components in spells. It's all good.
Okay. No worries.
Are we looking to
So-
cast a particular spell or?
Here's what I am trying to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm trying to do, and then we can figure out if I can do it. Two different
Sure.
things that I want to do. One, I have a spell called delete, which helps me delete about 1,500 words or something digital, right? So I'm thinking if I could potentially delete the locking mechanism on the lock, on the digital lock that is
Sure.
keeping Miko locked in, right? One. That's one thing. The second
You would
thing
like
that
to,
I'm
you would like
thinking-
to delete the code that is keeping the lock locked, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, basically, yeah. The second thing that I'm trying to figure out is if I were to use warp reality, combine it with share quantum aura so that the aura is transported to Miko, and then cast a spell from inside that shatters the lock and shatters the door. So it looks like it comes from her, even though I'm the one doing it.
So the first one
we're just
thing.
popping off. Okay.
All of that stuff you're doing for the second one technically works that way. So if you want to be like warp reality, share, like, because warp reality doesn't require verbal semantic components. You just concentrate on an area and do it. It's like your cool ability. Right? My understanding, warp reality very much doesn't have a verbal or semantic thing. It just costs you an act.
That's a separate thing that I was just trying to figure out if it's possible. Not spell.
If you want to do that whole separate section, technically works just like the way you said it does, from my understanding. This is why these are beta tests and why they're fun. So you can go warp reality, spell origin from this area, destroy this thing from inside the spell. You could pop off like that if you wanted to, no problem. If that is what you would like to do.
Okay. So because then that way they don't think we did it. Even the cameras are looking, they still don't think we did it, and we can still figure out a way to get out.
Correct, because the spell originates from the direction of your reality warp. So it would work just like that.
Oh boy. I was thinking of something completely different, but if we want to do that,
I'm trying to figure out if
What are we? What?
why are we
that's
the
what I'm
key?
thinking. How do we get the okay.
What's up?
We do keep forgetting we have the magic key.
Hey, it got used once at least. But yeah.
Okay, what does everyone think? Is there something that we should do or not?
Hey, if you all want to get involved in this, then let's do it. But
Yeah,
like, if
absolutely.
we want to keep the plan, then like we've marked it. We
The question is, how loud do you want to go right now?
yeah, because I thought the plan was to not have you guys at all implicated.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't exist. They're not. They're.
True.
So you're like,
True.
I don't want to see that. Like the vibe I'm getting is, I'm a skitterman that doesn't like this awful thing that's happened to this person, and I want to do this now. And that's been the vibe I've been getting, and that really plays into the character.
If that's the vibe I'm getting, if you want to do that, I am 100% like behind you. I have a plan. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Just
Just give us the signal.
on my warp thing. It
There's
just
what?
says an ally. Oh, it says an ally you can see instead of yourself. Never mind. So if I give them the aura, and it says it lasts for 10 minutes, so I could potentially wait 10 minutes and then explode it.
You'd still have to be able to see her.
Yeah, but if they're
okay.
coming, if they can see, can they see
They're
the
gonna
spell
march out
from
of
the?
You'll be able to give her the aura, but you won't be able to see her 10 minutes from now if they've marched away from the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So if we
I'm
give
gonna
her
do
the aura,
something
we can
else
come-
instead.
go ahead.
I think the vibe that like you said that he just wants to help. I'm gonna do the warp. I'm gonna push it over to her, and instead of casting a spell, I'm gonna use meandering mind. It basically it allows your mind to wander to things you find pleasant, briefly shutting out all reality and protecting you from harm.
Okay.
So but I'm using it on her
Mind.
instead. So like
So you're
it's
soothing
giving
her.
her some
Mhm.
sort of that's
You're
basically
giving her
it's like a
respite.
calm emotions
Mhm.
or something.
Yeah, no,
on
super
her.
legit.
I think that's
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
that's
and
you're
each of
using
that is
more
one
gravity
action, so I can
to
do
give her
all
a
three.
respite.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, super legit. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
That's cool too.
Mhm.
So we marked it. I would want to see the necromantic zoo. But that's for my part of the plan. If things go sideways, which I have a feeling they might go sideways.
So
I was gonna say we need the computer person to help us turn off the grav because neither of us are good at computers.
I mean, you
So
can
I
do
was
it the
like,
old-fashioned Star Wars way and just shoot the panel until the gravity stops
Yeah.
working.
You
Yeah,
could.
that's true.
We want to do that because well, I have an anti-grav harness, but like
We have about a half an hour, and
Yeah.
I know there's going to be at least a small combat getting out, is what it sounds like. Because I can do,
Okay.
I can set other things up, but I do want to know: are we looking to pop off? Are we looking to do the thing? Because I will expedite some plans and make some quick rolls here in a moment. Is
Okay.
what we're going to do.
Can we
So-
see where the gravity is controlled from? The two of us.
The two of
Overweight.
you cannot see exactly where the gravity is controlled from.
Mhm.
You could, at this point in time, you are within line of sight of your people. You could break comms and be like, where is the gravity controlled from? Like,
Mhm.
you know, gravity is controlled from somewhere. You could ask your other party members, because this
Okay.
guy's like, you're clearly watching your friend get a tour of the jail
Mhm.
at this point in time. Like,
Yeah.
you're at this point in time where like having an
Okay.
open comm probably isn't going to blow your cover because you're already inside the building, so they're not probably monitoring internal comms,
Okay.
and like
Okay.
you're kind of in that situation.
In which case, it would be a kind of we need the gravity off. Like where? Where is it? So that if we know where it is, maybe we can make it look like it's failed,
Mhm.
fair.
and then we can start. Everyone can start doing shit, and for them, it looks like, oh, what is this? What is this? And they take out the guard because
So
everything.
give me
Oh,
a
no.
quick deception. Give me a quick deception check, because I assume you're going to casually muck it into conversation.
Yes, let's go ahead. Deception at I gotta double check. We'll just double check here.
You're looking for
Deception's-
DC 25 because you have good rapport with this person already.
Thank goodness, because I only got 25. I rolled a 7 with a deception 18.
He'll basically let you know that there's a command area, or he could shut it off from the pad that he has, because he's basically the floor person at this point in time.
Oh, you mean the pad you're holding in your hand, the hand pad, perhaps. Is that a pad that is right in your
Yes, that
hand?
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I
well.
don't think there's anything that could accidentally shut it off from here.
Actually, if we're
You could
walking
try to
by,
delete it again.
are we walking? You could
Oh.
delete it.
Yeah.
The
That
thing
would
is though,
delete
like
the command from the pad, not the
Yeah,
control
exactly.
of the
Oh,
Ah.
right.
Oh, okay.
but if I delete
You're
the code
deleting
that
the
keeps the gravity on,
I don't have anything that makes.
You would
sense.
have to be at the
That's what we're
terminal that has the
Ah,
control. He can
okay.
control the
Ah.
gravity from the pad. He is not, that pad does not control gravity.
Mhm.
doing.
That's
Well,
like,
looks like we're popping off.
Okay.
okay.
So as soon as I am able to successfully feel like I'm out of range of the cameras,
Mhm.
we're going to use a free action to do saw that coming,
Mhm.
where I draw a weapon for free, or I can draw a weapon for free.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Signal to the Skittermander that it's time,
Mhm.
and then if I can, just pop in the back of the head.
We'll roll deception for initiative, because this
Yeah,
system
yeah.
allows you to roll all sorts of different things for initiative. And this feels like deception for initiative is the most appropriate thing.
Hey, you know what? The one time I roll a 20.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's going to beat him, because I only rolled a 12. So
Mhm.
you're going to go first.
Yeah, so that was a free action. Weapon's already drawn.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm just gonna shoot. There's not much I can really do.
Mhm.
My other options are.
I mean, you
melting
can
him
technically
with-
get him before you shoot.
Oh yeah, okay. I need to do that. So we're gonna get him.
Okay.
So we have that. I have
Mhm.
other options that I can do as well, but I'm trying to see which one I would need for this situation. Which, yeah, we're just gonna get him, which is one action, and shoot.
Mhm.
And that was a 19 plus 18. So 27.
19
Yeah.
plus 18 is 37.
37. Oh, I miscounted.
Yeah, 19 plus
37.
18 is 37. Go ahead and roll me a crit because his AC was all of a 25. He's not a combat guy. He's an attaché.
Oh boy. Remember how to do critical damage again? Is it just rolling all 4 dice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
it's doubling your damage.
Yeah.
Including your charisma bonus from shooting him.
Yes.
So
So this is from an advanced laser pistol. So it's 2d6.
So it becomes 4d6.
So it goes 46. I just rolled 2 2s in a row.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 6 and I rolled 2 4s and 2 6s.
But you still managed to do average damage. That's really funny.
That is. And then I have a charisma of +4, so that doubles to 8. So we're looking at 12, 20, 20, 24 points of damage.
All right. What would you like to do with your last action? You could attack again if you wanted, because this is.
We're right there. Might as well. I know I take the -5 to it.
Yep.
That is still a -5. Brings that down to a 13, but I rolled a 8, so that brings it back up to 21.
21 will miss. His AC is
21
25.
will miss. Okay, good. Good to know.
So pew 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 pew. You all start. You hear some laser action start popping off as you watch them walk around. He just turns on him and draws and fires, shoots him once. The dude is startled completely. He's like and stumbles back a bit. And he does that. Go ahead and I am on initiative 18. No, not 18. 22. Go ahead and everybody else roll for their initiatives. The 2 people in stealth roll stealth for your initiative.
Okay.
And our
Can I do it for
Skinnermander
both of
roll-
us?
It's stealth for both of you because you're both stealth right now. So you can choose to roll stealth instead of perception for initiative.
No, as in, can I roll for both of us when we go at the same time?
No,
Okay.
you each roll separately still for initiative.
Fair enough.
It's not a stealth check, it's an initiative roll
Yeah.
using stealth.
Oh, okay.
Our
Mine.
Skittermander can choose to roll deception or perception for stealth, whichever is better.
Mine is 33.
Sweet.
Got better than me. I got 32.
All right. So it looks like I've got a 33
I
and
got a
32,
29.
29, and then I'm on a 22. So
I think it was
it's
a
all you guys.
39.
You say
Did
39
you
or
say
29?
39?
No, mine was
Steve, what do you-
29. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he said 20. I was pretty sure it was 29. I'll be like, damn, you got a 39. Like,
Dang,
I didn't think he was-
Mm.
So on 33, what happens?
I just shot this dude. I already got him, or we're saying get him. So we're dealing extra damage.
It's not only was he like got him, he was like, unfortunately for you, Ozzy, you're in our way, and then shot him. Like,
You know what? As
basically,
a
he's-
reaction, also quip. So he is. If I roll intimidation, if he fails his will save, he's scared.
Sure.
Can-
He has the frightened condition. All right,
He
cool.
is a frightened condition. That is a 29 that is rolled. Wait, hang on, we'll check.
And he is frightened by 1. He is frightened 1.
Okay,
Unless
frightened
you
one.
want to-
Got it. So that there, I would say that's how I ended my last turn with that reaction. Starting back at the top of the round. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's all 1 round. There are no surprise rounds in stuff. You just pop it
Oh,
off.
right,
as you
right.
really want.
Okay,
Yes.
then that's all. I can do.
Pathfinder / Starfinder has no surprise rounds. We roll initiative
Fair.
after this, and we go down the order like we would in the first round of combat.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Then we already equipped, so I'm guessing I'm gonna pop him again.
Well, no, that was your whole turn.
Hold it. Okay, cool. Done.
You pulled, shot him twice,
Go.
then we go around initiative order as normal. You were
Got it,
just the
got
one
it.
initiating the combat, so it's hard for me to be like, you went before the person who initiated the combat. I also think you got the highest roll, so you would go first anyway.
Yeah, that's where I started getting confused. All right.
Not a problem. So now we're at 33 with our soldier.
So currently, am I closer to Miko Cell or am I closer to Ozzy and our crew?
I'm going to say you're probably closer to the cell. With the way you guys have been stealthing, I assume you're probably closer to the cell.
Well,
The guy's still up. Don't go. The guy's still up.
Okay.
I guess we'd figure that out anyway because gravity's not off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If gravity's still on, then I'll head over to. So I'll try and stride to wherever Ozzy took our friends, and see what the situation is because gravity's still off.
Yo, it's you can still see Ozzy. They're on the ramp. They're kind of in what appears to be a camera blind spot because he has the feats that let him know where the camera blind spots are. You're just closer to the cell than you are to them. So if you want to take 2 actions to stride, you can take 2 actions to stride and then do whatever you're going to need to do to be like on top of them. You can take 1 action to stride to the cell or 2 actions to stride towards the party. That's the other part of the party.
I'll take the 2 to stride to the party.
Okay. And then you have 1 action left.
I think I'll just strike Ozzy from my position.
Okay, sounds good. So you're just shooting normal? All right.
Yep.
Give me a normal shot with your rotary laser.
That is 30 total.
30 total. All right. Make sure to add +1, so it's only 31. That's still not going to get you to a crit, so you're going to hit for sure, but you're not critting.
Okay.
So roll that beam
damage.
footage.
Total damage is 13.
13. As more laser shots pepper Ozzy, they let out a shriek and are not in a very happy place. And then we're at 32 initiative for our operative.
I'm going to mobile aim
Okay.
to stride to the. Is it just 1 or 2 to the?
It's 1 to the cell, 2. It's 1 to the cell, or your weapon has much longer range, so it's going to be 1.
So,
if you're using the magnetic rifle, that has double the range of the rotary laser.
yeah.
So you're going to be able to stride 1 to be in range.
Yeah, so I'm going to stride 1 to be in range using mobile aim. We'll take a pot shot and open the cell as well.
All right, so you're going to mobile. So you're moving to the cell. You will be at your first range increment, so it is a -2. Just letting you know, back to +1 to be a -1. So subtract 1 from whatever you're rolling. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
I got you. I got you on distances real quick.
Okay.
So
that is a 39.
all right, roll your crit because
Yes.
you crit.
Okay.
He's probably really dead if you're using your magnetic rifle, but roll your 4d10.
Oh wait,
damage.
sorry, that's a 38. Apologies. 38 because
Still a
you
crit.
said -1. Yeah.
Still a crit.
So that's 40-10.
It's 4d10 plus 4d4 plus half of the charisma mod for another 4. He's
That's so
probably
much.
dead.
Yeah. Do we just say he's dead? No, I'm joking.
I mean, if you rolled all ones, then he'd live. But like, short of you rolling all ones, I assume you would like to roll and say you got a big number.
Okay, 5, 7. I just dropped 1. 2. So what? 7? No.
5,
I
7,
can't
2,
add
what?
12. That's 14.
Okay.
Plus, roll another one of the d10s. So that's 20 plus the d4s. How many
Yeah,
d4s?
plus your 44s.
Nice. That magnetic rifle is dangerous.
Let me know how you kill him if you don't want to keep rolling. Just
Cool.
describe how you shoot this person dead.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Kukui is very efficient. It's kind of like, okay, we know what we're doing. The magnetar rifle, it's a big gun. It does a lot of damage. But it's more of a like, okay, this person was what? They were a ghoul, a damphir? What?
They were something that was undead. You're unsure.
Right.
You don't really know.
But it's
I was
like,
dead.
you know what? Generally, taking it like severing that spinal column, the head, everything just kind of generally takes care of it, I think. So
Yeah,
it's
most
kind
of
of that situation is obliterated. It's gone.
Yeah, you remove the head from the body.
Yeah, so it's a very efficient kind of like, okay, we're striding, we're aiming at the same time. It's kind of like a take a shot, and we're already on the door, knowing that this Ozzy's dead already.
Yeah. You're already moved on to the next target. You looked past Ozzy to the next target.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the door on the you hold up the key to the pad and the cell door opens. I'm going to drop us back into roleplay-ish, but you are well aware that your time is limited, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, you know
Yes.
you're on camera shooting this dude, and so there's going to be a couple of seconds. There's going to be, because things don't happen instantaneously, no matter how the movies describe things. It's going to be about 30 seconds to a minute before everything really kicks into motion. So you
Okay.
guys have about a minute to do stuff, and I'm not going to count it out round by round because that's
How
really
long does
silly.
it take to get into a suit?
If you're helping her into the suit, it's gonna a minute to 30 seconds, depending on how much you guys want to. If somebody wants to use help actions to help this person into a suit, then you can probably get them in there in less, because it's a flight suit, so they're designed to be gotten into very
Yeah.
quickly. It's
Okay.
not considered the crazy armor setup. But yeah.
Well,
Can I make a recommendation?
yeah.
Can you two help her into the suit, and Sylvester will help me delete like the last minute of camera footage as well as turn off
Yeah.
gravity?
Yeah, that's what I can do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it looks,
just let me
it
get
looks
off the
less like we
ceiling.
just straight up murked this dude and more like we something happened, something broke.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The pad blew up right
Yeah.
next to his face.
I mean, yeah, sure.
So-
let me get off the ceiling for a sec.
Mhm. I'm gonna say you have probably a little bit of, well, we're not gonna say you have extra time. I'm gonna say this is gonna, clear out your footprints, but it is about a minute, and then you hear the lights go from like the white sterile to like a yellow, not like a full blown like Star Trek blaring red alert alarm, but it's definitely a yellow. Like it's that they've
Mhm.
moved from some level of security up.
Mhm.
It is very similar to the reaction you got when you crossed the threshold, but not the same, if that makes sense.
Okay, because it's still on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It has that similar, like, where things have gotten tighter, the mindless undead have stopped moving things around and seem to be moving towards locations, almost like they're mustering.
Hmm.
But nothing has gotten to the point where it's like full-blown red blaring alarm because everything happens so quickly. But you can definitely see, because you can see that, like, you can see elevators moving down to this level now.
Hmm.
I'm thinking we go up through the fuel lodge. How about that?
Yeah, there's a thing in there, but
Well, that's what I'll pat my rotary laser. That's what this thing's for.
A
Yep.
thing or numerous things?
well, I mean,
I mean, it was
the
just a
problem
big
is
one.
there's no way to remote call the ship. We still have to get back to our ship, so we could.
I mean, it's docked
we
on
could
the
go
outside,
out the
you know.
outside.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's just right on the outside.
Yeah, the ship's on the outside, so
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then let's go through.
Hello. Well, yeah,
and
let's
through.
go. So
Did
up
Did
again.
that big thing look like it could get through the fuel tubes?
yeah, no, it's
Get into-
it's wide enough that it fits inside the fuel tubes, and because it's made of bones, it's hard to say if it can squeeze itself in and out.
Oh,
It can
cool.
it can probably take a squeeze action to move itself in and out of the line.
Okay.
It's big, but it's not like, it's bigger than you. It's wider than you, but it probably, because it's made of bones and necromancy, it can probably squeeze its way out of the line.
Again,
I'm legitimately probably going to try to fast forward to this next 10 minutes into this particular fight, because that feels like the best place to go. So if everybody wants to re-roll initiative real quick,
Hell yeah, let's go.
I'd like
I'm
to
going to say
do-
that Mako spends
Sorry?
her time being in. What's up?
I wanted to do a thing. I have a spell cantrip called Adhere. Basically, what it does is it makes a 5-foot square difficult terrain, impossible terrain to move through. So I'm going to do that
Okay.
at the exit of the fuse line. So in case that creature comes through it, it's going to be difficult for it to
So-
move through that.
We're gonna go up.
We're going through we are going back through the fuel line.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It-
see. You're
no,
putting
after
in the
these guys
exit.
leave.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
the
Go ahead.
wherever these guys came from, there was. I'm confused. There's two ways we're leaving, right? One is where our three friends are going through, and one is where
I think
Nodice and I
everybody
are
is
going
going
through.
out the fuel line right now.
Yeah.
I think everybody's
Yes.
flying back out the
We're
fuel
all
line.
going together.
Back through the main exit is what we're thinking.
No,
No,
we're
no,
not going
the
out
fuel
the
line.
fuel line.
No,
We're
but we
going
don't have
straight
5
out.
suits, do we?
You
We do.
do.
you do.
We
You
have
But
fine.
glimmered
you're
your armor.
camouflaged.
Yeah, we glimmered it.
Damage.
You glamored your
Oh
armor.
shit. Okay. All right. My bad. Never mind. Okay.
It's
So
all
I'm
good.
gonna put it at.
You
I'm
did
gonna put
really
it
think of
behind us
all
then.
of these things. The group actually did think of all of these things. I've had to fudge nothing.
Yep.
I'm very proud of that as players. They're like, no, we thought of all these contingents.
Like we were solid.
So I'm gonna put the thing behind us anyway. After all of us leave at the end of it, so if anyone wants to come through from behind there, they get hit with that field thing.
That makes sense.
All right.
So I
You know
guess
what? I'll even support
Is
you
it
with that.
only
I'll use
5
them as-
feet, or how big is the area?
It's a 5-foot square.
So the biggest problem is figuring out where to place it on the fuel line, because the fuel line is kind of an open air 0G environment that's several squares across. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Ooh, let me check the distance on this. You know what? I don't think it's.
Isn't there
gonna
like
be
a
enough.
door that opens into the room for the fuel line? We can put it
Oh
there.
no, it's just an open fuel line situation.
Elevators.
Where it hangs from the
Mhm.
ceiling.
Elevators. We can throw it in
Putting it
front
on
of
the elevators is a great idea, though.
Yep.
That's going to stop people from gathering.
Yeah.
I'll also drop. I'll use one of my spell chips as well for that. Verdant overgrowth.
Yeah. That works really well in the elevator situation to keep people off your back. But the
Fantastic.
fuel line is this big, like 7-8 hex area across and down. It's a big circle in the ceiling, effectively.
I'm guessing I can't use opening roar on the thing we're about to fight.
Can't use what?
Opening what?
At opening roar, at the start of a combat encounter, if you're aware of your foes and are attempting to sneak or hide, you can roll intimidation for initiative and use the result to demoralize one foe within range.
Hell
You
yeah.
can use the intimidation for initiative part.
Fair enough.
The foe is immune to demoralize because it's an undead monster. It's a
Awesome.
mindless undead monster,
Dang.
so it's not going to be demoralized.
I mean,
Yeah,
But you
I'll take
can
that.
use the first part to roll your initiative for intimidation.
I appreciate that. I'll take a 40.
Nice one.
So yeah, basically everybody go ahead and roll initiative for me real quick because we're gonna try to see how deadly this gets. I'm gonna say Mako like activates their invisibility and hides during this combat so I don't run an extra NPC.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That and we didn't bring an extra gun for them anyway.
There
I
are
can
several people here who
possibly-
have extra firearms that they could
I
give.
have
them
at least one
probably
other guy.
firearm to a cop who you're
Yeah.
also illegally breaking out, and that
Yeah.
feels like probably not that smart.
Mhm.
I'm sure she won't mind that we are illegally breaking her out of this illegal
Probably
operation.
not.
Mhm. Well, it's
we
just
have-
like, hey, well,
we
it's
have a-
just like, I don't know, maybe there's a word or something we can tell. Something we can tell is like, they've paid to get you out. So
Yeah. So 40. What else do we got for initiatives? 39, 38, 37, 36.
27
Am I
27
rolling
using perception.
stealth?
You would be rolling perception this time. You guys are moving quickly. You know you're going to trip
Okay.
this thing.
Yeah,
You're going to be
39.
rolling a regular perception initiative check.
39.
39.
27.
I'm at 33.
Jesus.
I
I
rolled
did
a
my
17.
part. All right. I did my part in all of this.
Hey, let's be clear. I rolled a 17. That's why I'm at 33.
Fair. Fair.
Is it too late to do a thing here?
What you got?
Just skip. It's gonna skip all of our combat.
Sure.
But,
If you have a thing
okay.
that skips the combat, do a thing that skips the combat.
Oh,
I have a
please.
thing
Okay.
that's called Umbral Journey. That's a spell that I took. It basically it moves us through the netherworld to cover about how much distance we can travel in 3 days within an hour. But we can go anywhere. It's not like specific that location. So if I could just basically teleport us into a ship.
Teleport
Oh,
into a
shit.
ship?
Yeah.
What the
It
fuck?
takes 10
Yeah,
people with
okay.
me.
Yeah,
So-
I will always allow people to circumvent a combat if you have a cool power that lets you circumvent a combat. I'm
Holy
never going
shit.
to force people to be in combat.
Okay.
If you have an alternative that says, no, I didn't want to do combat today, then no, you didn't want to do combat today.
No, but
So-
does everyone else want to do combat or no?
No,
No, you're good.
absolutely go for it. Just
Yeah.
I do have
Yeah.
a thing I like to describe as you do this. So, gravity is off. I am charging towards that fuel line, screaming, charging towards the fuel line, screaming, fire, activating the rotary laser, about to run hot at this thing that I know is there, and I can't wait to fight it. And then you cast Umbral Journey, and we all teleport.
We're back on the ship. Like, oh.
It's like, oh, wait, what? What?
I mean, that also just works. It just
Mhm.
works. It's like a Bethesda game. It just works.
Just
I'm
use.
just-
Damn. All right. I was
Oh.
not expecting you to just use that.
It is a
Yeah.
badass spell. That's a very good use of a very badass spell. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's the job.
Mako, are you alive? Are you here with us?
Yeah.
Mako kind of recognizes the other two people. They're in a better headspace. They're a bit confused why you rescued them. I do feel like we're going to speed a little bit through this next little part if everybody's cool with that, because again,
That's
we have
fine.
10 minutes. I don't want us to go over because there is another stream after us. So Mako is going to be like very confused once you disguise yourselves. She's going to be very confused why you all rescued her, but very grateful. You guys, it sounds like you let her know that there was a bounty put out, and this was all like, people wanted you back, and you guys are like, hey, we want to be on the good graces. We're trying to go the straight and narrow. You do this, it's, you get the things done. You proceed to free Mako. I assume nobody mentions the key at all. Like everybody's super tight-lipped about the key.
No,
The most tight-lipped.
No. Like the way I used it, it looked like I was doing something with the key.
Well, the way I use it, you were out of the line of sight of Mako, so it's not like Mako saw you use it.
Yeah.
We do not talk about the key with outsiders.
We don't talk about the key. The first rule of Key Club is we don't talk about Key Club. It's like Kingdom Hearts. It's going to be decades between when these things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, your Skittermander friend opens this crazy umbral portal, gets you all there safely. You're on the ship. You assume you immediately kick the ship into let's get the hell out of here and drive away.
And drop the
Mako is
transponder
brought
outside.
What's up?
And
you
drop
leave
that transponder outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Scratch out another name on the long list of fake names this ship has had. The Deception. The ship's just named the Deception at this point in time. You proceed to safely get away. You drop Mako off. You begin to start dealing with this. You get paid out. You go to the Starfinder Society, and begin all the legal paperwork. So you guys are on the straight and narrow, and can now legally make yourselves part of for the betterment of society and all the things that kind of go along with that. Mako says, "Yeah, I do owe you a favor. If there's anything you need in the future, please let me know." And they're very grateful, and they go to get some surgery done so they can heal and not become an undead creature because they have no desire to be undead. Mouser thanks you. You also get a letter from like a family in like a farming town that thanks you for all the help that you've done. And you find out that like the people who were basically being the front for some of the stewards that were putting the money in some of the other people were basically a farming town that Mako helped rescue people from outside of her actual jurisdiction. And that, they're super grateful, and that you're welcome there in the future if you want to swing by. And that pretty much wraps the adventure on your part. On an epilogue, at that same space station, a few days later, that same black ship comes out of drift space and proceeds to kind of show up there, and a bandaged up Aussie meets these. I mean, you didn't confirm the kill, and he's undead, so I'm gonna have him pass the save. You guys didn't say you executed him. Like it's like
okay.
You did liberate his head from his shoulders, but
I guess
moving your head from your shoulders doesn't kill all the undead. He's all Frankenstein together at this point in time.
There are ways.
Yeah,
there are so many ways. He lives in a bunch of undead people and isn't undead. There are ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Ozzy saw us.
Correct.
All of our stuff.
He's not giving descriptions. He's handing over a transponder box to a group of knights in black armor, because this is all they have on the people that stole this person that match a ship description physically. But there's so many copies of this ship out there, it could be anybody. And I feel that's a great spot to end it, because I love cliffhangers.
Absolutely perfect.
Turns out we're really good at our job.
Yeah, turns out you are.
I wonder what happened to the other crew.
What do you mean?
They never showed up.
What other crew?
Well, the job was still out there,
Sounds like we were the only ones brave enough to actually do it.
Yeah.
We fucking rocked it, apparently. Goddamn.
You did. Umbral Walk is that's a great use of that spell. Like, no, we're done. We just leaving.
Yeah.
This is my get out card. I would like to leave now.
Well done, Steve. Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely perfect.
So let's do some let's do some player outros, and let's tell people where I can find you. And we're gonna start with our Pathra, and let us know how your thing went. Let us know where we can find you. If you have an update for us, let us know.
Okay. Well, yes. I'm Lola again. I have been Kukoye and playing the Pathra. I am. You can generally find me on Roll Together RPG, where I have been working on the production for Humiliating Hope, which is a actual play for University of the Traveler, the Kickstarter, which has concluded, and we did hit that last stretch goal. So
there you go. Yeah,
nice.
Hooray!
Thanks so much, everyone. If you did go and back it, I am incredibly excited to bring it to you. And I have a mini game to finish because we hit over 200 backers, and that means a free game for everybody.
There you go. That is awesome. Next, Steve.
Hello, hi. I'm Steve, also known as Sassy Vance. I am a Twitch streamer, performer, and producer as well sometimes. I call myself the best faceless streamer on from India, and it kind of fits because of the whole, you can't see me vibe. Not John Cena, but the other you can't see me vibe. But anyway, I run Pantsless Tables, which is a TTRPG studio focused on shining a spotlight on underrepresentation talent. We're about to do a bunch of really cool things in the next few weeks. We've got merch coming in 2 weeks. We've got new shows starting up. We have a couple of really interesting new events planned, both IRL and online. And I'm very excited to do all of those things. If you are interested, come check us out. Pantsless Tables everywhere except for the Bird app, because fuck that place. And yeah, I was very excited to play a small little creature that loves everything, which is completely different from my usual type of characters to play. So yeah, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm glad you were able to do this for such a good cause.
All right. Next, Mitch.
Hi, I'm Mitch. Some of you know me as Raptor Blue on Twitch, so where you can find me. We cover African American history. We cover African history. We do games. We do politics. We kind of do a little bit of everything here and there. On the side, I'm a community inclusion coordinator, and I do voice acting work. So if you want to hear me belt out a random musical that I know or read a line from something, come on by and have a good time.
Right up. And last but definitely not least, well, I can talk still. I've been doing that for 3 hours straight. Blah, 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 blah. Last but definitely not least, Rush.
Hello, everybody. I am Agent Rush, also known as Agent, Rush, Molly, or Link. My pronouns are she, her. I am brand new to this. This is my first stream ever, and it was so much fun. Thank you for letting me be part of this. And I am also a cast member of the podcast Can You Roll Me a Vibe Check, which recently released a secret episode that even I don't know what's on. So go check it out.
There you go. And I've been your storyteller, trying to bring all this together, Paul, here at Apochromatic. You can find me most Thursdays playing video games. You can also find me running other games on here and helping out where I can. You can also find me on HSC doing lots of other things. This has been a blast. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves watching and playing. And we're going to wish you all a good evening. And somebody really should check out the last game and the last stream after us. So do that and donate.
You can find me at agentrush.bsvsky.social. Forgot. It's been a while.
Bye.